coming in on a Sunday, and I'm not talking about okay, we're gonna have to restart that. Coming in on a Sunday, here we are. We got the official One Piece chapter with us today, as well as Par Vision after his friends giving a Thanksgiving party. How's it going, Par?
I just like that you restarted the intro and just didn't change a thing, just changed your intonation and then what you said. Oh god.
Coming out on a Sunday is the go-to intro today.
We're going official. Parcast is official right now.
You know it.
Crazy.
We love being official. It has nothing to do with Scanalations releasing a little bit later in the day. I think they released Saturday?
Yeah. Well,
like Friday night. Something crazy.
But it's also Thanksgiving, Black Friday, the important holidays of the year.
Oh yeah.
Cyber Monday's coming up.
I gotta admit, I love Black Friday when it was in its peak.
Wait, what year was peak?
I'd say 2012.
Ooh,
2012 was peak Black Friday. You could go to a store and get trampled. You'll go to Walmart, then you'll leave, then you hear that 3 people died. It's damn, dude, that was those are the days, man. You know what I mean?
I was thinking you're gonna say 2012. I remember was it the 360 or something? One of the Xboxes came out.
Yeah.
And people got shot for it on Black Friday.
Yeah, dude, people are fighting for things during Black Friday. Yeah. Nowadays, nobody really goes, or if you do go, it's not as big of a crowd because people just shop online, which is a little bit sad, in my opinion, because I do miss just going to a store super early, which eventually they got to a point where instead of starting on Friday, it started on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Thursday at 6 p.m. we're opening for Black Friday. It's what? No, dude, it's Thanksgiving. And it's kind of sad because at least for my family, they really wanted those deals. So we started trading the family times and the parties for Black Friday shopping. It's oh damn.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to their own place. You got people going to Best Buy, Walmart, Target, just it really separated the family.
It sucked for the
damn
workers
you Black
too,
Friday.
Because the workers it was I think at the beginning when they first started doing it, it was really bad, but then it's still bad, but then I think some places did triple pay, and it's ooh,
I wouldn't be able to turn it down, to be honest. If my job offered triple pay, I'd be hey guys, sorry, I'm gonna work today. Hell yeah.
I think one of my cousins, they left one of our Thanksgivings early, and everyone else was gonna go shopping, but they were yo, triple pay, and I'm that's,
you can't even blame them, man. That's a lot. Yeah, there's a horror movie, but before we get into One Piece, there's a horror movie called Thanksgiving, and it's literally just about Thanksgiving, turkey and Black Friday shopping. It's an awful movie. It's a horrible horror movie, but it's on Netflix, and there's a part 2 coming out next year. Yeah, believe it or not, it premiered on Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, you zoomed in the camera. You're damn, that's that's how invested you were.
Yeah, I would assume that they did it on Thanksgiving, right? Imagine him naming your movie Thanksgiving and then not premiering it Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it releases during Easter or something.
Yeah. I was just saying that because this funny because just situation happened for Thanksgiving. We didn't say what we were thankful for at the thing. I was oh man, I wish we did. And my wife was well, we're gonna have another party for my son's birthday in a few weeks. And she was so we could say what we're thankful for then. I was I'm not gonna make a bunch of 2-year-olds say what they're thankful for at a birthday party. And she's no, you do it with the adults. And I was I'm not gonna just push over Thanksgiving stuff to a birthday party just because it's near Christmas or whatever. And she was just it's not that weird. And I was that'd be and I couldn't think of another holiday, but I was just that'd be giving someone Christmas presents on Mother's Day and being sorry, I miss Christmas. And she's that's not the same thing.
No, that's the same. That's what I was thinking of too. I was wait, Christmas on Easter? That would be strange, right? It's the same thing there.
Exactly. You push it off and just you just gotta do what you gotta the movie had to come out Thanksgiving. If they fumbled the date,
yeah, just do it next year, man.
At that point, just
so what brought us today though, and what brought us here today and what I'm thankful for is a One Piece chapter 1132. Oda's healthy, he's alive, thank God. He had a little bit of a health scare, and it's funny because you were joking about it with me, and I was also joking about it with my wife. I was like, hey, wouldn't it be crazy if Oda died before One Piece ended? Like, that would be awful, huh? No, because I was thinking about it. Because it's like, this guy's working a lot. He's got a lot on his plate. And it's like, will he survive 5 years? I hope so.
For the record, I wasn't joking about him dying. You
were joking about Oda getting a terminal illness that would put him out of commission.
No, well, hold on. No. I was saying, we were saying, maybe like you were saying, I wouldn't trade anything for the last chapter of One Piece because we're gonna get it anyways, and I was like, hopefully we got hope for good health, and then the next day Oda was just like, hey, my health ain't good, and I was like, no.
Yeah,
I think you posted the last Parcast on the day when that announced, right? Because we recorded it, and then the next day it was like that, and then you just messaged me and you were like, hey,
there was so much drama around that too.
I have no idea.
Dude,
all I know
the
is
discourse
that
was
recorded.
Crazy.
Yeah,
what
was like the I'm assuming people disagreed, but about what this time?
So we all knew it was about Oda's health, right? Like, that was like the first thing. It's probably because of his trip to South Africa. Like, usually whenever you take a vacation, you come back, like, you get like the sickness, like, it just happens. When I went to Japan, I came back a week later, I got sick. It's just normal. I'm sure a lot of people have experienced that as well. So I think Oda's just got like a common cold, a bad fever. But what happened was that
the airplane, not the...
Oh, yeah, surrounded by a bunch of strangers, yeah. And then, I mean, I'm sure like climate change has something to do with that too, right?
Well, like well, not climate change, but altitude, and then you're in a tube, and then like think about it. Someone farts, where's that air going?
True. And dude, there was oh my god. On my plane from Japan, there's a Vietnamese lady sitting an aisle behind me, and she would not cover her mouth, man.
Yeah,
like I heard like crazy visceral mucus. I swear to God, it was like I took a shower on that plane. She would not just close your mouth, cough in your sleeve, wear a mask, like something, man. Like, goddamn. They teach kids to like cough in their elbows. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Yeah. But anyways,
mask up on planes.
Yeah, what happened was I would say all the official channels for One Piece, like Viz, Shonen Jump, and all of them, they poorly communicated that there was going to be a break. And by poorly communicated, I mean that they did not say that they were taking a break until a week later. I'm not even joking. So Monday rolls around, and Red On, Pew Peace, and all of them, they said, hey, emergency 2-week break. Oda is sick, blah, blah. And then we were like, oh, snaps, that's crazy. And then they also cited that Manga Plus said, oh, yeah, there's next chapter is December 1st, which is this chapter. Like, I think officially, today, December 1st. And then people are like, oh, it's happening. And then Manga Plus updated their website and said, no, chapter's coming out November 17th. They updated it, and they said that, and people were like, oh, like, look at this. There is a chapter this week. And people ran with the weirdest effing headcanon saying that, oh, like, they were trying to catch the leakers. They said there was no chapter, but there's a chapter. They're over here playing games, and they almost got, the leakers almost got arrested. And it's like, what? What kind of headcanon? Like, first off, none of that would work in the way you're thinking of. Like, oh, there's a 2-week break. Oh, wait a minute. No, there's not. We gotcha. It's like, what? First off, that doesn't make sense. Second off, like, it's crazy because the leakers have the chapter a week in advance. So when they say there's a break, and when they've been truthful for the past 7 to 8 years, I'm gonna believe them. You know what I mean? So there's like also discourse online about that. Yeah, they post the leaks.
So isn't that how you just catch the leakers? You wouldn't need
to, you don't have to play this crazy game. Yeah. And then there's also like a whole thing where like Redon will post a GIF of a hint of the chapter every week. And he posted a GIF from the newest episode where Luffy does this, and he says, I'm going to be Pirate King. It's like the revamped version from Fishman Island that they're airing. And people said, oh, Redon posted a leak, but, he lies and says that it's from the episode because he doesn't want to be caught as a leaker. It's like, what are you guys, what are you, fentanyl? is it coming out? Like, I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, just the copium online of people fighting back. And it's
Imagine being arrested for a GIF.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Because I always said this, the GIFs like are my favorite parts of the leaks, because like that could exist. Like even when the last chapter comes out, if you just posted a GIF, like that's like a hard thing to get mad about, right? But that's
Yeah.
also like, how are you supposed to get arrested for that? You know what I mean? Like what is Shueisha gonna do? Like just be like, oh, Your Honor, look at this weird lion GIF. Like no, that's not gonna happen, right? But
Yeah.
like obviously if you post text or images, then
Yeah.
it's like, all
It's
right,
different.
whatever. But you can't. A GIF is fine, and not that I'm saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing, or his GIFs are high quality or anything. I'm just saying that concept of spoilers is kind of funny. I like that one.
Yeah, and just for a whole week until Viz came out and said something, there was just a giant debate, like, oh, leakers versus officials, like, oh, why are people trusting leakers all of a sudden? Like, why do they have so much clout? And eventually, guess who was the arbiter of truth in this situation?
Liam.
Stephen Paul.
Oh,
Stephen
damn.
Paul on Blue Sky, funny website. He over on Blue Sky, he said, "Oh, like I don't know why Shonen Jump." I don't know. He said I don't know why Shonen Jump is fumbling this announcement, but there is a 2-week break. Like he literally said that before it all came out, and then people were screenshotting it and saying it, and then all of a sudden people were just going back and like, oh, like even though this is true, we still shouldn't trust the leakers. It's like, okay, man, all right, dude.
I should have.
It was crazy.
In that and be like, Stephen Paul confirmed leaker. Like
he's right on, guys. Oh my God! Wait, I mean, Light was Kira at the end of the day, right? Wait a minute. Yeah, it was just an annoying discourse. Like, I mean, I never made any comments about it online, which I typically don't. I stay out of drama. I stay out of all of those debates. But I was just witnessing it from the sidelines was painful, is all I have to say.
Yeah. You know how crazy it would be as like a movie, like if Stephen Paul was the leakers, like he was like TCB so this entire time, and he purposely tanks Viz's translations to make his the TCB.
Oh, that'd be so good. Wait, yeah. That's smart.
And then like he technically gets the stuff a week in advance also. He gets it earlier than a week in advance. So like he could just like go to his back room, just photocopy a bullshit scan and just put it up. That'd be kind of funny, you know?
Yeah. And then people also had this weird like inclination to believe that One Piece is like 3 to 4 chapters ahead. And they're like, oh, if Oda's sick, they should just release the chapters. Why'd they pull the chapter from Viz if it's already a Monday? Because it was so in Shonen Jump, there was like a last minute revision where One Piece is still listed in the table of contents. And then if you go to where One Piece should start, it just says, apologies, we couldn't make the deadline this time around. And people are like, oh, but Oda's like 5 chapters ahead. Oh, why can't he do this? But that's like a thing of the past. Oda said that like, I think 15 years ago. And I think there have been signs that Oda isn't always ahead. Like during Egghead Island, I think there were 2 chapters back to back where it was barely finished, and we still have like the rough sketches.
I would think that the previous thing is probably still consistent, but the nuance of it is different. It's not like he could be 3 chapters ahead, but that doesn't mean that like
it's so drawing and everything.
Yeah, there's a process he has to put it through. So he puts a storyboard, then it has to go to a team of like, because he doesn't draw he draws anything that's moving according to his last statement about how he uses his like editors that draw. He does anything that requires like physics, and anything that's still, he has to like teach the team how to do. And then there's like the double spreads that he probably does most of the drawing, like in this chapter. But when if he's 3 chapters ahead, that just means that he's 3 chapters ahead, and it probably takes 2 weeks to get it through publishing.
Like it's like rough sketchings and everything. Yeah,
it's not
like the dialogue's not in there yet.
That tight of a schedule where you draw something and then within a week it's published worldwide? Absolutely not. That's crazy. I don't even think text articles are that quick. Like I don't think the New York Times has that kind of like run through, unless it's like a super breaking news priority thing where they make tons of mistakes, right? Like because I've talked to a few, and it's like, no, it takes like a week at least, and then you have to do revisions. It has to be translated. Like what are we talking about? That's a week. Anybody who's like done any kind of process workflow, that would be absolutely like I would be upset if that was the actual case, that somehow a multi-million-dollar, maybe billion-dollar company has a workflow that's that tight
Yeah.
on Oda.
And you don't even like double check anything. It's just like, oh, send it.
Yeah, no wonder my guy got gout. You guys are pushing him like that. What the fuck? Put a month gap in there.
Like I said, like the whole discourse over the break weeks was kind of like silly. It was just super goofy, man.
Yeah, I can confidently say, and I say it every time, I no regrets not being on the internet. The only regret I have is I'm not posting on my channel, but that's coming soon enough. But
hey,
Twitter
one day you'll hit 100K.
Yeah, one day I'll make it back.
One day you'll hit 100,000 subs par. Oh yeah, man, yeah. That's funny.
One day my YouTube verification will make sense.
Yeah, you slept your way to the top, didn't you?
I like that I have it, and then it's just like, wait a second, how does
I'm like, for context,
that one guy, like, people are like, oh, like, how do you get the verification thing? I heard you're getting to 100K. Wait, but Par doesn't have 100K. I don't think you need 100K for a check mark.
For context,
well, you know,
Par had 100K, and now he doesn't. Yeah, Par just slept his way up there. Don't worry, guys. Yeah, you'll get back to 100K. No time. I believe in you.
Yeah, I got that motion. Woo.
Yeah, be thankful for the verification you got.
Yeah. I'll ask Santa Claus to put me on the good list for the 100K. Yeah, please, Santa.
So we got a cover page story this time around, and I would say things are finally happening. Right, we finally got something to talk about in a way. Yamato, Komichio, Speed, and Tama, they made it to Udon Prison, and they're rebuilding the castle. And by they, I mean like Momonosuke's people, I'm assuming. But yeah, like, my God, we're here, dude. We finally made it. We chased the sword thief and we're here.
Yeah, like, why are we here?
I mean, the sword thief has to be like hiding here, right?
Isn't this the craziest place for the sword thief to go?
Hiding in plain sight, Par. You're telling me you never hide in a construction site? That's where people hide dead bodies.
This is true, except like they don't have to hide a dead body, right? Like,
you don't know that. Maybe all the people they kidnapped are gone.
Like, and then like it's not a really good place to blend in either, because like, what are you gonna do? Blend in as a prisoner, right? Like, and then you can't have the sword.
Well, the prisoners still aren't here, right? It's just like Wano citizens, I think.
So okay, see, this is what I wanted to get to. I think Momo is a fucking crackhead. I am against Momo's. This is tyrannical, okay?
How so?
Because there's multiple problems with this image. First of all, is Udon a prison still, right? And if it's not, that's fine, okay? Then you can build a castle. If it's still a prison, and then your first order of business is to just build a castle, just like what, stunt on them, like, because it's still, you still need a prison, like, you can't, like,
you still need a prison.
Like, it's not, yeah, like, people are gonna be like, but Par, the U.S. prison, okay, but we still, like, other countries still have a prison system. Like, you put criminals somewhere, right? Like, you need some kind of detainment situation.
Wait. Prison labor is well worth it, right? Like, if you could put them to work, like, make them build a castle.
Okay, no, but here's the thing. In Udon, look at the chimney stacks. They're not firing. So not only did Momo shut down whatever prison, like you were saying, what they were doing, Wano needs exports. Wano needs money. So what is he doing to the economy? That was their main thing.
That is true. And yeah.
So all he had to do was just pay them. Like, the problem was the prison part. Like, just pay the people.
This is still step one of, like, you know, the revitalization of Wano. Like,
so he making them make what does the castle do? What does the castle do for the people, for the economy? Who's living there?
So I've heard of this before, where like sometimes in prisons, like whenever they have like a watchtower, you can't see inside, but there's like always a watchtower, and that's so that you can watch the prisoners work, and the prisoners don't know if somebody's watching or not, so they always keep up productivity. So maybe this is to make sure that the people in the surrounding area are always working. Like, they just don't stop because they're afraid that Momo or somebody else would spy on them and realize that they're slacking off, and then they'd get slapped on the wrist.
Side, the workplaces are on the towers in the back. You can't.
Yeah, but I mean, like, put them up in this castle with like a telescope, and they're good.
So what's the point? Yeah.
It's like a glorified watchtower.
When I got this cover story, I was like, man, Yamato's speed got outran by the fastest thief. The thief ran to the worst place on planet, and I was like, wait a second. Why is there a castle being rebuilt in a previous prison place? And then why is the workforce not? What is happening? What are the priorities here? Why is the castle the priority? What about the clean water, Momo? Like, what's happening here? Just because you shut down the factories doesn't mean that like the water becomes clean and you just re-divert the forces into a non what's it what capital, there's no ROI on a castle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where's the investment?
I will admit though, one thing if you look at it, is if you look at this cover page story, you can see that the forest that Aramaki built is still there.
The Navy's on top, baby.
Dude,
like
Green Bull potentially did more for Wano than Momonosuke ever did.
Yeah, I mean, the Straw Hats had what is Usopp's job, right? Isn't he like a botanist or something? Nami could have gave a tree at least and said, fuck those guys. Chopper didn't heal them. Aramaki came in, cleaned up the Kaido crew because they wanted to put him in prison. I'm sorry, don't put King and Queen in prison. Kill them. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, man. You know how like in Udon prison they had the whole thing where they shackled him up with sea stone and then dropped him in water? Like, why not do that to King and Queen? Like, and the thing is, like, you could say it's cruel, but I would say 20 years as a slave is pretty cruel too, right? like people would celebrate their death, man. I'll admit, people would be like hooping and hollering. You know how they had like a 7-day festival after they beat Kaido? They'd add one extra day for the death of King and Queen.
Yeah, and then, like, don't get me wrong, like the saying is like always bet on Kaido, right? I'm sure it's hereditary, always bet on Yamato. But like King and Queen are kind of like
it's like an unnecessary threat to have at your doorstep. Like, yeah, the Scabbards and Yamato could probably beat them, right? If they all come together. And Momonosuke, oh my god, yeah, all of Wano, yeah. King and Queen are done. But it's still a difficult battle that you don't want to fight if you have to.
And anybody giving me pushback is like, Par, you think that King is gonna give Yamato there's a no-name bandit outrunning them right now. Just robbed her ass. Like, she ran half of Wano, couldn't catch him. I'm sorry, flying bird pterodactyl man, Lunarian is going to apparently dust her. Like, I don't fucking know.
You gotta, you know, think about strategy as well. Strategic planning. Because King has been in Wano for 20 years. Yamato is finally just traveling around for the first time. King knows the lay of the land, right? Dude, man, King would, he already knows like the you know, what is it, like the pressure points of Wano, like where to hit first if he were to attack. Yeah, man, get this guy out of here.
That with Big Mom's ship came up, he just went boop. And
yeah, he knew where to be.
Boom. Yeah, this is the pressure point, and he relieved the pressure. You did acupuncture to Wano right there.
Yeah, TLDR, man, we should have killed Babanuki, King, Queen. Like, I'd say if I was Momonosuke, I would just execute all the Beast Pirates, to be honest. Like, I mean, I get it, right? It's a shonen. We're not gonna do that because that's, you know, that would make too much sense. But if you were Momonosuke, would you have executed all the Beast Pirates?
Bro, the more I see Yamato's pilgrimage, the less I believe in Momo's leadership, dude. There's I think what's happening is like what I just said about Yamato inheriting the always bet on Kaido thing. I think Momo inherited the Sukiyaki bullshit. Yeah. Like Odin wasn't in his life, so I guess Sukiyaki is just, the influence is going rampant. Like, get first Sukiyaki. That's my list. Okay, Sukiyaki's first, and then like my justification for like King and Queen at minimum is like, what would we do if Kaido was still here? What if Kaido wasn't? Would we just put him in Udon? No, absolutely.
Hey, according to Momo, he would. Oh, Kaido's defeated. Oh, let's just throw him in Udon with some handcuffs.
Right, and
nobody was watching over them.
It's like, oh my god, dude. Like, if Kaido was here, I think like, and they said throw him in Udon, I immediately, Momo, I'm sorry, you're too young.
Kaido and Big Mom are still alive, but they're unconscious. Quick, lock them in a wooden cell. That's it. There we go. Done. Problem solved.
Here's another thing. Another thing is like, when you have like continental threats, right?
Yeah.
I think like, let me just say like at the US, right? If like an asteroid lands in like bumblefuck Alabama, The CIA, FBI, everybody goes to investigate. Even if it's probably nothing. We have satellites, we have things, we know it's probably nothing, but we still investigate, right? That's not even a continental threat. But maybe, what if it's aliens, even though we don't, like, at least maybe we do now, but like, what if it's aliens? What if it's a continental threat, right? They don't know what happened to Kaido and Big Mom. Like, for what they know, they're
Yeah,
just
I go
somewhere
searching,
on
bro.
Wano. I would send a search party to make sure because it's not like it's not just like a regular, it's not like some random Robin Hood problem that they were having at the beginning of Wano. No, this is a guy and a lady that can eat the country. Like literally, I'm not even exact, they could literally eat you. Like everything. In a like overnight. Overnight. They could just get drunk, gone. Country gone. And all
And
you
not
need to
just
do
that, but you have
is search
history
for
with
them.
them. You have history.
Yeah. they have reasons to eat you.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit silly. You know, the more you tell me about Momonosuke's incompetency, the more I believe it. But the thing is, one leeway he gets is that he's 8 years old.
Yeah.
He has some gelatinous form
Brain development.
yeah, going on up there. Yeah, I mean, at this point it kind of falls to Kinemon, right?
Bro, that guy, oh my god.
I mean, this falls to
I don't know.
Kinemon. I mean, Kinemon's supposed
What
to
if he
guide
has
him,
CTE though?
show him the way.
Maybe I think Kinemon has CTE.
Yeah, because of all the hits to the head he's taken.
Yeah. We see him next time, he's just like incoherent.
Yeah, he's like a slug on the ground, just rolling.
That'd be hilarious if Oda brought back Kinemon to just be like, not brain dead. Okay, I'm sorry, but like, just super incoherent. And everyone's like, what is wrong with Kinemon?
What if next time we see Kinemon, he's like the ending cliffhanger of a chapter, and he looks at Luffy and the gang, and he's like, "Who are you?" Because he just forgot.
That's like that. The last panel of One Piece is just Kinemon
It's just
forgets.
Kinemon. Where am I? He's like at Laugh-Tale.
Yeah, that's the Void Century parallel. That's actually what just happened.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, the main person who's supposed to remember everything just has CTE.
No, that'd be solid. Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, solid isn't the word I'd put for it, but sure.
So now that they're at Udon, what are you expecting? Do you think we're gonna explore the castle? Do you think we're gonna meet another scavenger? Why'd you do that? No, this is hype, dude.
Dude, I'm sorry. I didn't think that they'd run to Udon. Like, I don't get it from their perspective because they're slow, and then I don't get it from the person's perspective. I don't
This is
care
their
at this
hideout.
point.
They're
I
hiding
don't
in
even know.
plain sight. It's
don't
like
even
when you're
know
playing like
who's in
Assassin's
Udon.
Creed and you hide in a crowd.
No, because you also said, like, we don't know, like, maybe it's not even a prison anymore. But then on the flip side, like, they did put the Beast Pirates there. So, like, they were intending it for it to be a prison at post Kaido. So, like, it should be a prison. But, like, is it, like, I don't know. There's just so many weird things with this, like, why are we here? Why is there a thief? Why are they stealing the sword? The sword isn't that. I'm sorry, Yasue. Your sword isn't that big of a deal.
It's not even a graded blade to our knowledge.
Yeah. Like okay, this is the last line I'll say. Not even Tashiki wants that sword, bro. Like,
And it has an ugly pattern too. It's got like the ugly like smile devil fruit pattern, which I mean that's Yasuo's pattern as well. Somebody pointed that out, but either way, it's not a good looking sword. It's not even graded. Like, let's just leave it be. Do you think anybody would notice if we just put a fake sword on Yasuo's grave?
bro, at this point, Yamato should be like a life experience where it's like some some battles aren't worth fighting, or like some things aren't worth the thing. I get it, honor or whatever, but like, my guy, like this is disgraceful. Like, just act like it didn't happen. Sometimes you just gotta move on. Like, just like okay, here's an example. I'm not gonna say who, but I know somebody who backed up into a parked car in a parking lot, and and the other car didn't take any damage, so they just kind of act like it didn't happen, and they just moved on. And there was a giant dent in the thing, just ignored it. And I'm just like, you know what? Fair. Like, that's embarrassing. What are you supposed to tell anybody? You backed up into a parked car. It looks like you backed up into a car because like the paint was scuffed with the other car. It's like, oh, you definitely hit like a vehicle with this, and it was like a very odd shape. And yeah, it's like some things you just don't admit. You just kind of move on. You just It's so minor. It's like a small fender bender type thing, you know. Yamato, you just lost Yasuo's sword. It's like a fender bender. Just go, you know.
Yeah,
Just
just put
leave.
like something else there.
Yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, fair
Just
enough.
tape
Fair
it
enough.
up.
You know, I agree with
Yeah.
you. And so now this brings up the big question, and I didn't know this was like a hot topic for a while, but are the Beast Pirates still here?
Oh, I would assume so, right?
Not okay. Not like Jack and the Toby Ropo, but I mean like King and Queen. Do you think they're still here? Because
Oh
my
no.
yeah, I was about to say because for me, I've always thought that they got taken by Green Bull like after Green Bull left from Shanks.
Yeah.
But I saw some people saying that Green Bull like left immediately and he never picked them up. And it's like that wouldn't make sense because Green Bull, last we saw, he had a warship with Weevil, and he did request a warship back in Wano. So if he left King and Queen here, it's kind of like a fumble.
Yeah, I don't think he left them.
Okay, yeah.
That would be interesting, but I think I'm more. I can see why people think so because afterwards he walked to Flower Capital and then saw Shanks or whatever, but we don't even see how he left or whatever. All like Shanks didn't personally go there to stop him, right? If Shanks landed in front of him, then I'd be like, okay, maybe he never whatever, but like it's not like they just said stop fighting. So he
Yeah.
just goes back, collects whatever he did, or he took care of it beforehand, right? Like it's not that crazy to think about. The guy has the nature Logia. So it's like he could be like the scope of it is that he could be walking to the Flower Capital while pushing like delivering everyone to the coast while wrapping them in vines. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not that crazy for him, I don't think.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Rayleigh going to Amazon Lily and stopping the fight between Blackbeard and Boa. Like after that happened, Rayleigh didn't see this guy off the island. No. Blackbeard was still capturing Marines off the
Yeah,
coast. Like
Yeah, so-
I can't believe Rayleigh just let that slide. To be honest, that was kind of shocking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that happened. So I think there's reason to believe that Green Bull did take them. And if these are Beast Pirates, then it's going to be like the Toby Ropo or Jack. But even then, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like why steal a sword? Why run? Why kidnap women? Like nothing really adds up yet.
Yeah, and
That's a
just
good mystery.
because I feel like people might clarify both sides, Kobe, went with Blackbeard willingly, but the thing, like Blackbeard captured like 800 sailors, and then Kobe traded himself for the thing. All Rayleigh had to be like, hey, no
Don't
funny.
do that.
He literally said no funny business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Blackbeard been like, oh shit, like
No funny business, Blackbeard. Blackbeard starts capturing Marines right behind his back. Well, good one. Hey, good job, Rayleigh.
Rayleigh's just like he can hear and like. By the way, Rayleigh has observation hockey that can sense an entire island's worth of animals, like 500 of them. So he definitely knew what was happening. Like, and he's just like, Kobe can handle it. It's fine, whatever.
Yeah, well, then again, Blackbeard, he was also like, I couldn't actually win against Blackbeard. So Rayleigh probably just like, he didn't want to, push his luck in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no
I
reason
would
to
like
die
to
over
see
these
it.
Marines who, obviously he's not on their side.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like Rayleigh had to get sold into saving Luffy too, right? Because like at the auction house, he was kind of like, oh yeah, like my Conqueror's hot, like I can't do anymore because they're gonna chase me. Meanwhile, like Marineford, then he swam over, then he taught Luffy, but before that, he was like, all right, you guys got figured out. I'll just bubble your ship. That's fine, whatever. He didn't stick himself out too far for Luffy up until Marineford. After Marineford, that's when he's like, all right, here's an option. I could train you if you want it. He didn't like, and then after time skip, that's when he was just like, all right, here's the line. This is my protege. Now you ain't fucking with him, right? But before that, at the auction house, they were like, oh, we're surrounded Navy. And then Rayleigh was just like, yeah, see, like I could take care of all of this,
But I don't want to.
Yeah, and he tried to say like, oh, then the attention will go to motherfucking like stop that bullshit. Like no, he could have taken care of everything, the entire island probably before Kizaru. Like even like I'm not saying that Kizaru would be too slow to get there. It's like by the time the cannonball comes down with Kizaru on it, I'm pretty sure all of the auction house, multiple groves, Rayleigh could have handled all of that if he really wanted to. But he's just like, Who are you guys?
Yeah, they had to nerf him. It's like I'm playing Yakuza right now, which is like a long running video game series. And in the most recent game, like the main character, he's like a hardened criminal, super powerful. But to nerf him and to make him playable, they gave him cancer. So so I'm playing him, and he's like, oh, if I was in my prime, I'd beat these guys in an instant, but I have cancer. And then sometimes when you fight, like, he passes out. I mean, that's Rayleigh, right? Like, they gotta nerf the guy.
Well, Rayleigh doesn't have cancer.
He doesn't have cancer, but he's old, you know? Like, that's his nerf.
Like, I like how, wait, like, was the guy, is it feudal Japan, like Yakuza?
No, it's like, Yakuza, like a gangster game.
What kind of cancer did they give him where he's, like, recovering enough to fight off a sword, and then just periodically he gets cancer fatigue?
I don't know, man, but it happens.
And then as he levels up, I'm assuming the cancer fatigue, like, withdraws.
No,
like,
it gets worse, because he only has 6 months to live.
Oh, no.
It's terminal cancer, Par. He's dying.
Wait, at the end of the game, do you just die? Like,
I mean, I'm not there yet. I have like 1 hour left, but I'm assuming he lives. Yeah, no, I'm assuming he lives.
You beat the final boss. What? Okay, so then what happens? He beats the final boss, and then all of a sudden the game's like, you cured cancer now.
I'm sure it's something like that, right? Like, it's either that or maybe he beats the cancer out of his body.
What a funny. Nah, like the way the progression has to go is you beat the game and he just dies. That's the epilogue. Like, you won, but like cancer stupid.
The guy has like 10 video games. There's no way. There's no way that he's going to die. I refuse to believe it.
Is he getting treatment? Do you have to like periodically
he doesn't want to get treatment because he says he's lived He says he's lived a full life. He said there's no reason to fight anymore.
This guy's dead.
Hey, shout outs to Rayleigh, man.
He's not even trying to fight the game. That's what you're telling me. I don't know what kind of fairy tale you're believing in the ending. Start to spoil you, Sai. But 10 games later, this guy motherfucker's dead, bro. Did he have cancer in the 9 other games?
No, he just got it in this last game. Yeah, he got it like a game and a half ago because the previous game, I think the ending cliffhanger was, oh no, cancer. And then they go to like a black screen, and then now we're in like the next game.
I like how after 9 games they were cooking in the back room. Yo, our character's too strong. How do we nerf him? Aha! Cancer! Woo! That's the one.
Yeah. And it's
Bro,
fun because there's a game coming out, like another sequel to Yakuza, and the guy's a pirate now, or like his friend is a pirate.
Wait, that's so funny because what I was gonna say is like the normal thing to do is do what you did with Shanks, just like take a limb or something, like take 2 of his limbs, and then you said you make him a pirate now. So it's like, wait, that would have fit perfectly.
Yeah, no, it's his friend though who's becoming a pirate. It's not him.
Wait, so then he is dead. If the sequel doesn't have him, it's his friend.
No, the sequels sometimes don't have him. He'll just like pop in on the side. I don't know. It's a long thing, but if you guys have played Yakuza or Like a Dragon series, you know what I'm talking about. It's a great game. Shout out to Kiri. Hopefully he lives through cancer.
Yeah, shout outs.
Shout outs, man. I mean, do you think you would live if you had no treatments?
I think. Well, no, not no treatments. I would have to get initially treated. Then afterwards, technically, yeah. I think so. Yeah,
I think you know
no
what?
Guarantees.
I'm gonna say this right now. I think you have really strong willpower, and if cancer were like at your front door, ready to kick you down and put you in the dirt, I think you'd be able to fight back really well.
I appreciate that. Sorry.
Yeah,
that means a lot.
You don't. You look like a fighter.
Thank you.
Yeah. Kick its ass, Paul. Let's go.
Don't put me through 10 games to end my story with cancer, though. Please.
I won't put you through that. So, any final thoughts about the Momonosuke cover page story? Or not Momonosuke, Yamato cover page story?
At this point, it's the Momo exposition, bro. We're getting all of Wano, and we're seeing how Momo's ruled it, and he elected a dog as one of the leaders of one of the regions. Get this guy out of here. What does he know? Actually, he knows a lot about Curry. Never mind.
Yeah,
But like,
he knows.
yeah. Actually, that might be the best move he made, technically.
Putting Nekomamushi and Inarashi in like leadership positions.
Wait, Nekomamushi isn't, right?
Nekomamushi is too, I think.
Is he? Was
I
that
think they
confirmed?
both are.
I thought it was just Inarashi.
Oh, maybe. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't really kept up with the Wano politics that well. My bad, guys. I just, after we left Wano, I was like, I'll wait a while before I go back and revisit all the lore.
Let me see this. Nekomamushi.
I feel like it would make sense to make both of them leadership positions, or maybe just like retired guys who, assist the daimyo. I think that would work out pretty well too.
I don't think there's an update.
No update on him? Yeah, last we saw, they were just chilling, right?
Yeah, wasn't he just like, he paid respect to Namashi with a hug.
Here's the thing though. For Inarashi, when we saw him in this cover page story, that's when we learned that he was the daimyo of Curry. So there is a chance that as we go on, we'll see Nekomamushi too. Maybe Nekomamushi is the one who's building this.
Oh, we already saw Nekomamushi. Yeah, Yamato just hugged him.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
He's just chilling.
He's retired.
I get that. I mean,
that's good.
Yeah. Inarashi should be doing that same thing.
He's old, man. Let him retire.
Yeah.
Before he becomes like a, Joe Biden in office,
Oh, yeah.
Like, where's that guy?
Nekomamushi already wasn't he? Like, wasn't like amnesia low-key a thing for him on Zou?
Amnesia? No, he had like the day-night cycle, right?
I feel like
Did he have amnesia?
Like, I feel like I remember something like where they had to say something to him like 3 times and he just like ignored it. Oh, Chopper.
It's because he was playing with like a ball, right?
Maybe. I think Chopper kept on telling him like, yo, you're gonna like be in pain if you do this, and then he just kept on doing that thing.
Oh, yeah, because he didn't care. He didn't want to be like handicapped by Jack's injuries.
Oh, wait. That's kind of ironic because then he got handicapped.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace, Nekomamushi.
Make sure you get treated at the hospital, guys. Not like the Yakuza guy.
Yeah. I think this game will end with him going to the hospital. I think that's it.
I hope so.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
that's
God.
the happy ending for the healthcare providers.
Speaking of places where we need to go, though.
Speaking of places we need to go, we got Elbaph. We got Colin. I think it's his name, right? Colin? Yeah, Colin. We see this kid, and I will admit I'm surprised he's an actual character. I thought it was just gonna be like a background detail, but no, it looks like he might be quite pivotal. Colin, we learned about his dad and somebody named Ripley, who I think is like the family dog or family animal. Because
believe it or not.
Yeah. I honestly, when I thought of Ripley, I thought about the alien Ripley, like a Sigourney Weaver. Like the Alien franchise, Xenomorphs.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's what I first thought of.
I know that, yeah.
But
what's funny about Colin, right?
Wait, what? What's funny about Colin? He's a kid?
So, well, two things. One is that you were saying like I'm surprised it's important because I theorized when I basically conceived this child in the Godfather Shanks video because I was saying that there's gonna be a Luffy 2.0. This is like pre Onigashima stuff, and I was like, there's gonna be a Luffy 2.0 stuff. And then this kid comes out, there's another Makino just on a giant thing. And then we get him, and then I'm like, oh, this kid's going to be really, really important. And we get his name. But the reason why the name's important is because remember I brought up on one of my streams that the officer who gave me a ticket, and I really hated the guy. Not hated.
Your real life story?
His name was Colin. I just talked about it like 2 podcasts ago. Just randomly. I was like, I didn't.
So you hate this kid is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, like that's what when I read this on stream, I was like, man,
you got angry. If the camera panned down at your fingernails are all bleeding, you've just been chipping away at them.
Officer Colin.
Oh man, I like that he's a Luffy fanboy. Oh, one thing that's hilarious. So OP Scans is back. They released a chapter like the day of. And the reason I bring this up is because their translations, man, I've gotten it bad for these guys sometimes. I'm like, hey guys, more translations the better, you know, multiple sources. Even if you don't like them, even if you don't agree with their translations, it's still an extra eyes on the raws, right? Like it's not like a downside as long as you know that it's not official. When Shanks says, don't forget this name, Straw Hat Luffy, they translated it and it said, don't forget this name, Straw Hate Luffy. And I was like, guys, how do you mess up the main character's name like that? It went from Straw Hat Luffy to Straw Hate Luffy. I was like, bro, stop.
That's
like that's an egregious one. I can't even defend that.
Yeah,
that means that they're nuts.
They just don't know One Piece then.
It's either it's either that or like they had to go from like language to language to language. But yeah, it's hilarious to see.
Yeah,
that was their debut page. Just Straw Hate Luffy.
Yeah, that's takes you out of the immersement. Straw Hate Luffy.
I will admit it made me laugh a little bit, but you know the people who don't know it was OP scans, they're like, wait, why does Shanks hate Luffy? I was like, no. why does Shanks hate Luffy all of a sudden, guys? Is he gonna fight Luffy finally?
Oh man, the theories that came out of that one.
Yeah, that was funny, man. That was funny. So the kid wants to go visit Luffy and all of them. He asked Dorian and Brogy if they were going to stop by, and Brogy just hits him with an X. He tells him no, and it's hilarious. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, when OP Scans translated the Brogy thing, the WAP, instead, they just put no in bold into letters. So it seemed really ominous. Like, imagine a darkened text box, and instead of the WAP, it says no. And the font was like scary as well. It was like a demon. I was like, my God, Brogy, please.
I'm honestly not gonna lie. I didn't get the panel. Like, regardless of translation, like I didn't understand because like the kid is screaming at them.
Yeah.
And so like the Giants could just respond.
Well, okay, maybe it's because I'm like, you know, mentally stunted, but I sometimes do this as well. Like when somebody will ask me something, I just do this.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Like I guess if you're like a
a little kid.
Yeah, like no, I'm thinking like of like VTube like over animating, like, you know, the concerts, like, you know, just I don't know, just like that kind of thing. But like the kid is screaming, "Hey, Captains, are you gonna drink at the cup?" And I was like, why didn't they just say something?
It's because you would lose aura if you scream back, dude. Like look at the distance. And the kid is like screaming the top of his lungs, dude. If you scream, "No, I'm not gonna drink," like you lose aura. I think this is better. It saves face.
Like I guess so. I guess you're right. Like now you say it like that. You like, what could you have said? For me, I was like, when I saw, because I forget what TCB said, but like whatever they did, and this I was like, wait, what? Is he just saying no? Like, is he just saying like no? And then I just ignored the text box, and then I just got the context of him going ah, and I was like, all right, so they're just not gonna go. All right, fine. But but so here was the other part. The kid goes in, and then he goes, oh no, they're going straight up. And I was like, wait. How does he know that part? They didn't hit like the rainbow yet or anything.
Oh.
So then that's where I was like, is this like, do they have like, does this mean a lot? Like,
I could see that.
That was a loaded answer, I guess. Like, because then I was thinking like maybe he did say stuff afterwards. Like, I don't know. So I just skipped it. It was not a big deal, obviously. And I'm just assuming that like, oh, if they don't stop at the pub, they just normally just go up, and the kid just like, I guess he's a smarter kid than Luffy 2.0, because Luffy would have been like, oh, Shanks hates me. He didn't come visit me.
I hate Luffy. No, it's canon. Maybe OP Scans had the right translation. Straw hate Luffy, man. That's a good one.
Yeah. But I like how the Makino, the fake Makino, was just like, oh, they are? That's smart if they got guests with them.
I don't like fake Makino.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
She's ugly.
Like the purpose of these people, it's not there yet, right? Obviously. Yeah. I'm curious. Like the kid is the only thing. He's like the token kid. We got to see how it is going to use him. Sure. Like at this point, like I feel like the way he's going to be used is like Loki's like standing over his neck, like what's his face? Oh my god, Higuma.
Higuma, yeah.
Higuma. Fuck.
Yeah, how do
Goddamn.
you miss that
Friendsgiving.
name, dude? Come on.
Dude, I haven't slept. Like, I've just yesterday I said I was gonna be busy, and then after the stream, I was just up till 3 a.m. So I was up from like 4 a.m. to 4 a.m. the next day,
And here we
yeah, the
are.
call. Yeah, here we are.
And
But
like I wish we could have done this like on a better day. But like I said, I blame TCB all. Well, don't blame them. I mean,
yeah,
they're doing this out of their goodwill, so we can't really say much. But I'm just saying, like, it's
yeah,
not our fault. It's not our fault.
yeah.
Nobody's fault.
Yeah,
Um,
but
yeah, that's
but
just
yeah,
how it is.
they'll be here for 3 whole days. Once they start drinking, they'll be here for 3 whole days. What did you think about that?
So I almost want to save this for later because
Oh,
I do want to tie it in with the Luis Arnott, however you want to pronounce his
okay.
name. I kind of want to tie it back to that.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad you thought something of that because, like,
Yeah,
when I was reading, I was like, that is an interesting thing she said, but like, I didn't know
yeah.
how to react to it. So
I
I
forgot
do
to
want to
mention
talk
it in my
about that.
review video because I had to make it last minute because the chapter came out at a weird time. But yeah,
Mhm.
that is very important. One thing I do gotta admit though, this is just the last silly thing I'll mention, but if you look at Shanks in that panel, he looks really cursed, by the way.
Yeah, there's something odd about him for
Yeah, I
sure.
so for the thumbnail of the video, this video, the podcast, I got somebody to color it up for me because I'm like, hey, like that's a great image. Just color it up and call it a day. He colored it up, and Shanks looks so scary. He looks like Timu Shanks. So I'll send you a picture here in a little bit, and I'm sure you guys probably saw the Shanks, but take a closer look at him. He looks rough. But anyways,
Yeah, a little bit
you
of
know,
fetal alcohol syndrome.
yeah, a little bit. Got a little bit of a fetal alcohol syndrome going on there. That's why they don't want to drink at the bar anymore. So Colin really wants to meet Luffy because he's one of the four Yonko. Shanks is talking about him a little bit. And I like that they added this in because it shows that Shanks knows that Luffy is going to be here in a way. Like, hey, don't forget this guy. And this could tie back to the Loki thing as well, right? People were wondering, like, oh, why didn't Shanks do anything about Loki? Well, it could just be because he knows Luffy's going to show up. And if there was a problem, Luffy would handle it. I kind of see this as another thing that Shanks is entrusting to us in a way. He's entrusting Elbaph in our care. Or he's leaving it to our
Yeah.
care. Yeah.
Like it's kind of like it's probably not even like a strength thing. It's like in order for you to be the right person, you should be able to handle this situation.
Yeah.
And by handling the situation, that's proving that you're a great pirate or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, like you said, this is more than just strength. It's like, just taking care of an entire island in a way. Which I would say Luffy's doing a bad job of it right now, based off of the promise with Loki, which we'll get to here in a bit. But on to the next page, we see that Hardin and Stanson are off the coast as well. They're like, hey, look, it's the Great Eric ship. Whoa, the rainbow just touched down. And I thought it was kind of funny seeing them here because I wonder what their plan was. They didn't have a sunstone last we saw, so were they just waiting off the coast for somebody to show up and just open the rainbow for them?
Yeah, I have no idea because I also thought it was interesting because like we get an understanding there, like a word we passed by, which was a big thing. It said the little kid said, if you're, or was it the little kid? Oh no, is the fake Makino. She goes, if you're going up to the sun realm, but like the officials went with sun world, that's what I want to know. I haven't had the time to check the raws. I want to know what word. I'm guessing like Sekai or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Like because I want to know if it meant like dimension or like universe, like because they do the 9 worlds, right? So when they said realms fits. They do 9 realms, 9 worlds. I want to know what Japanese connotation they used here. But they said that, and then that would mean because later on there's heaven world, sun world, and then there's hell, or the dead world.
Yeah.
And that would mean that Colin and the fake Makino are in the dead world because they're on the water level. And so I was like, that's interesting. Why are they there? But then also, like, how is it broken? Why is it the dead world and then they're just there? You know what I mean? Because that would also mean the orphans were there. Hyrurin, when he was the a prince in Big Mom's flashback, he's also in the dead world as a child. Like,
Oh,
why
no. So, Hardin and all the rest, they were actually in the Sun World during the Big Mom flashback.
So but that's what's interesting, right? Because we don't see any water level at the Sun World, right?
In the flashback, no.
No, like Big Mom is at water level in the flashback. We know that because they got her from the coastline. They dropped her at the coastline. And then here, like when Shanks leaves the pub and all that stuff, he just walks the coast. There's
Yeah.
not like they're in the sky, right? And then when Dory and Brogy are with them and they do the Halkoko sovereignty, they're on the coastline. So that means that they're all in the dead world.
Yeah, there's some weird things going on. I feel like maybe back during that flashback.
No, I'm
Uh
I'm talking about right now too.
oh.
Like Colin and the fake Machino, they're in the dead world because they're saying they're going up to the sun world, and that would mean that they're in the dead world too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm just like, wait, so like, what is this? What does dead world mean here? Like for them? And I thought that was interesting too
Well,
because
maybe the
like
underworld is only like the area right below the tree. I feel like it maybe doesn't
maybe
count for the outskirts of Elbaph because like you see the mountains,
yeah.
right? The mountains kind of block it off.
Mm-hmm,
I think
mm-hmm.
everything within the mountains is the underworld, and then once we pass that, it's just it's the coast of Elbaph.
Yeah, and then that was the other part that was interesting because it's like you're saying, like, why is Hyruden and Stanson waiting here? Wouldn't they just know that they would go to Sunworld too? Like, I don't know.
They're just
It's
hanging
just
out.
funny. Yeah, they're just hanging out down here, and they're like, our timing's perfect. The rainbows just touched down. Let's ride their coattails. I'm like, yeah, it's interesting. I guess they only had 2 days, right, of prep time, technically.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not that crazy. It's just interesting where Oda placed people, I guess. I'm interested to know why. I mean, because like in the like the Nordic Scandinavian mythology of like Yggdrasil, hell wasn't just like an evil place or a dead place. It was that like other people lived there too, technically, I guess.
Yeah.
But um it is interesting to see how Oda is placing people, right? Because you don't get that feeling, but they are technically in what they call Dead World. So, wonder how Oda's gonna split that up.
And one thing about the Big Mom thing that I was talking about as well is during the Big Mom flashback, maybe not like in the very beginning, but like when she was in the village with everybody else, she was in the Sun World. I might have noticed this. I follow Artur on Twitter, and he tweeted out that in Big Mom's flashback, you see this house alongside a watchtower. And in this chapter, when you go to the Sun World, you see that same watchtower and house. So she was up here, but like, it's like like they were at a different angle, so you couldn't see it. I'm just assuming Oda didn't want to show us Elbaph at the time, or maybe he didn't have it all figured out. But you do see that same house and the watchtower in the Sun World. So Big Mom was up there.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool. Good detail. Good detail.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I saw
gotta
the
check it
watchtower
out.
and I was like, oh, that's cool. But I was like, oh, what are they gonna use that for? Turns out it was just a
Yeah.
tie in the flashback, which is nice.
Mm.
So we see Dory and Brogy draw up this rainbow. We don't see them draw it up. I wish we could have, right? Like see them draw it on the ground or like see how they do this. But the rainbow pops up. Brogy says he did it with the painter. And apparently the kanji for painter is the same as sunstone. So it shares like a synonymous meaning, which is pretty cool. And I think this can make more than just rainbows. I think this can make like a bunch of different things as well. Rainbows is just one of their utilizations. And when they're on this rainbow, my God, there is no resistance at all. Full speed ahead. It's crazy how good this is. And all I gotta say is that I hope we get one of these for ourselves. There should be no reason why we don't, because we're allied with the giants. If it's a sunstone, there's not just one of them. Like there's multiple, right? I mean, Hardin and Stanson said they forgot to bring theirs. So I could totally see us getting one of these after we leave. Maybe Usopp gets it, maybe Frankie gets it. But I
Usopp,
think this
definitely.
might just be how the Thousand Sunny travels, just over the rainbow.
Yeah, I mean, as far as with rainbow stuff aside, the connotation of the sunstone and the painter thing, I feel like Usopp gets it. It's like,
Yeah.
3 day. One of my mods on my channel was saying like it reminds them of dials from
Yep.
Skypiea, and then I brought up how like dials are probably like sound based energy storage, and then sunstone is light based energy storage. And so I also agree that there's probably other uses, but here's the main one that I think is probably a reality, and it could explain a lot about why Oda didn't
Shanks?
why he didn't dig deeper on a certain concept in Egghead, which was holograms. The Sunstone is probably the natural way slash the mythical way that they created holograms. This could be the ancient kingdom's version of hologram technology, where Vegapunk also depicted a way that you could physically interact with light as well. And so not only did he create holograms that would technically give you zero resistance, but he also created a way that you could grab onto light. And here we're seeing how somehow we're able to ride light refractions, and it seemingly has to do with like some kind of, you know, mythical scientific, no, mythical version of a scientific concept that Oda's bringing up. So, and that could again explain why Oda didn't do much with holograms on Egghead. But now we have Lilith coming in. Lilith coming in, knowing about holograms. She's gonna be like, hey, this is how this stuff works. You know, the Giants have a romanticized version, which is hilarious because when I was saying about when we got the writing part, I was like insane, like it was so exciting, and I was like, how are they doing this? The rainbows are just light refractions. And then Robin goes, rainbows are caused by the refraction of light passing through raindrops, just like that. And then the Giant's like, you silly goose, you can ride on rainbows. And then it's like, that's gonna be awesome when Lilith is just like tries to dissect. I'm imagining it's gonna be Lilith, Frankie, and Usopp trying to figure it out, right? Which is ironic that we don't see Lilith like dissecting it yet. I don't think.
No, she just says, "Wow, this always impresses me when I see it," and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So it could be that the hologram technology was based off of this. Honestly.
Oh yeah, or like this is where like Vegapunk got inspired to make it in the first place, right, to start researching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, man. And like when it comes to the Sunstone, I agree with what your mod said as well. Like I've talked about how like Usopp had dials on Skypiea, so he's probably gonna get something here. Right, like I think him getting a Sunstone is great. And somebody mentioned this. I didn't even think about this one, but they said, "Oh, what if he gets a Sunstone hammer?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute, that's kind of sick, man. I like that. I like that a lot."
And then he can create like clones, like, and then the Sunstone hammer. Oh, you know what'd be sick? Wait, Sunstone hammer is cracked.
Yeah, dude. Then I thought that was a banger idea. I was like, "Yo,
he could do the 10-ton hammer, and it could actually be weightless, but then have a physical embodiment."
Yeah.
And it can maybe actually be a 10-ton thing. It's just like, oh.
And imagine he throws it, and then like the reason why it comes back to him is because of the rainbow. It's fast because of the rainbow, and then maybe he can find a way to like, maybe he gets the light gloves, and then he can pull the hammer back. He can grab the rainbow, just pull it back.
There's a lot that, like Usopp getting it, and then the world opens up for him, right? Like,
yeah,
I think that there's more. Oh, this is a dangerous idea because
and the thing is that it keeps Usopp on his toes too, right? It's not just like some broken power up too. Like he has to like use it well.
Imagination,
yeah, imagination, craftiness, conniving, like it's all that.
This is a dangerous idea because it's so simple. I think that most people who read this story will come to the conclusion, regardless of what you think of the Sunstone, you just Sunstone, Usopp. Regardless of how it happens, what you think about it, like I think a lot of readers will connect the two. And it's dangerous because if it doesn't happen, if Usopp somehow it just for some reason
it's gonna scary.
Create and it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, it's kind of like
I hate that mindset.
It's kind of like Zoro and the Ryuma thing, where it's like I get why people were upset. I logically think like, oh, it didn't really matter that you can go to the grave. Why would it matter, right? But like for people who say it's like, well, that's like Zoro's lineage. Like, just make him. It's just ABCs, right? It's kind of like that.
I hate that mindset so much.
But with the Usopp situation, it's like it's tied on with the whole we've been wanting something for Usopp for so long. Like that was an entire like hour discussion at the last Reverie, and I think every Reverie is like, what is Usopp gonna? Oh, Vegapunk. Oh, Egghead. Oh, Wano. Like there's always been is it Usopp's time now? And then I think Jay came in and was just like, hey, let's have the conversation. If Usopp gets nothing from Egghead from Elbaph, then we're dropping Usopp. Came in.
He's gone. Get rid of him.
Yeah, we're dropping Usopp from every conversation from now on. And like, you know, there's a conversation, right? But the Sunstone thing is like very scary because it's like, I think anybody, you can create an idea under the sun, literally, for how this could be good for Usopp. And if none of those things happen, then it's like, what do we say for Usopp? Oh no.
Yeah.
You know?
The reason I dislike that whole thing, I love the idea, But
Yeah.
I don't like it when people set themselves up for failure, like the Ryuma thing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, you have, like, for me and you, for example, right? We have a lot of wacky, kooky theories that never come true, right? The recycle core is one of them. God damn it. Hey,
Yeah.
maybe he still makes a comeback later, but just because a theory is wrong is no reason to, like, hate the series or to get upset. I mean, sometimes, like,
Yeah.
I feel like at some point it is justified. Like, oh, if Usopp doesn't get anything here, I'm with Jay, where it's like, okay, what are they doing with this guy? But the thing is, like, these theories are just theories, right? They're just ideas.
Yeah.
You know, we can't set ourselves up for failure or get mad when it doesn't happen. And I see that a lot, especially with My Hero, where, like, the ships come in. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, so like My Hero, that's a different context we could talk about at a different time. But
Yeah.
here, it's not that the theory's fault. It's time. It's literally just 20 years of waiting. That's the problem. It's not the
that's
theory.
where I say, like, eventually it becomes justified, where it's like, okay, like, at some point we do need Usopp. If we don't get it here,
I can't get
it's a little
mad.
bit silly.
Like, yeah, because I was pushing back on, like, a lot of what Jay was saying and, like, you know, validating some of Usopp's character stuff. But this is one where it's like, if the community goes rampant with Sunstone Usopp theories and then it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be on that side of the ship too. I'm like, one of them, you know, Usopp just gets, like, sunstone glasses. I don't know, like, he can start seeing the rainbow at least. Like, could you give him better eyes? I don't know. Like, oh, like, how about this? Like, he gets a sunstone mirror and then he becomes Soge King, like, all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one something. Or he shoots stuff and then the rainbow comes in and then he can, I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with it, but, like, just anything. I'm sure the comment sections will be able to, will literally flood with a multitude. And the thing is, I think that there's infinite ideas based off of what we have right now on Sunstone, a tangible rainbow that has sound. By the way, it has a sparkle sound effect, which is, like, kind of sick. But, like, you add that in, and it's like, bro, he has sound, light, physical embodiment. Like, Usopp could do anything. Hallucinations, illusions, like, body doubles, clones, like, barricades, right? Like, it's so interesting what you could do with this. And if Usopp can't do anything with it, it's like, all right, cool.
And the craziest part is that Usopp has shown that he is a painter. He is a drawer, an artist. Like, he drew up the Jolly Roger. Like, if he doesn't utilize something that requires drawing, oh my god.
Yeah, which is one of the bigger theories. Even though I wasn't in the community, I heard about it after the fact, that with Kanjuro's fruit being, like, an Usopp thing, that would have been cracked if Usopp got that. He would have been the best utilization for that fruit, honestly, and boom. Or Frankie could have been good too, I guess, if it works, like, blueprints wise, but, like, Usopp, we know, has been, like, the day one painter. So it's like, and then the way he took down Sugar, he relied on Kanjuro to do the thing, but he could have just done it himself, right? If it was his devil fruit, he could have just done that, right? Didn't he coached Kanjuro exactly what to paint, right?
Yes, he told Kanjuro how to draw, like, the scary looking Usopp thing.
Right. So it's like, all you needed was, he had the vision. That's all. That's what he needed. And so now, theoretically, this Sunstone is the bypass. He doesn't need the devil fruit. He doesn't need the thing. That's the bypass. Theoretically, we don't know the full outcome of this thing. Like, not the outcome, the full potential of what the Sunstone holds. But with the name Sunstone, and then what we're seeing right now on the panel, it's like, even this could achieve so much that it would be a little unfathomable to not have Usopp interact with it, like, heavily, right?
I like to imagine that's why. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why Oda split up the Straw Hats, but this could be another reason, right? Like, he didn't want Usopp to see this just yet. And that's why Lilith isn't with the other Straw Hats, because the minute she wakes up, she's like, hey, this isn't Elbaph. Like, this, what is going on here? All right, Lego house, come on.
Right.
Like, they're kind of nerfing us in a way.
Yeah. She'd be like, that's not the Adam Tree, guys. Come on. Legos? Are you joking?
They're like, the Adam Tree really changed, huh? That's weird.
That would be hilarious if Lilith was stupid about it and just like, this isn't where I saw Saul. Like,
I would love that. Yeah. Oh, I love Lilith, man.
That'd be great.
But yeah, like, the Sunstone, I think, is phenomenal. And another thing this could explain is how Shanks showed up at Marineford super quickly.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, possibly not like confirmed, but this is a plausible route after all these years. Because at first I
Yeah.
was kind of of the mindset like, oh, maybe Shanks has like a yokai transformation, and it was like the Gore saying that's how he just flew over here. But I think rainbows make a lot of sense because he's allied with the giants. He knows Dorian Brogy, all that good stuff, and it would even explain how he fought Kaido and King in a way. Because Kaido and King were on their way to Marineford. They didn't say if they had a ship or not. I'm assuming they're just flying because they're the two people in the Beast Pirates that can fly. So it's like, well, Shanks was just right there. He was next to or he was riding the rainbow. He saw King and Kaido, and he just simply put them down. Or not put them down, but you know what I mean. Like, he talked them down. But
Yeah.
a lot of good
remember
stuff.
because the Godfather Shanks video, I talked about how essentially between that and my recent Elbaph video, I doubled down that Elbaph is going to demonstrate some way of transportation that puts everything else to shame. And that's just kind of a thing with the Vikings. Vikings were seafarers in an expert way, despite they were experts without like a lot of the scientific part, I guess, which is probably rude, but like, you guys know what I mean.
That's
like
not rude.
they were
No,
known
no,
for
no.
seafaring.
That's fair.
But they didn't like have to put a lot of logic. They just like kind of knew, and then they romanticized
They had
a
street
lot of the
smarts.
currents as sea serpents. And so in the Godfather Shanks video, I was saying like, oh, it's probably that the giant serpent, I forgot what they called it, white strom that they talked about post Fishman Island, that would be, and especially because they used like a Nordic spelling, they had like the O with the double dots on it. Icelandic spelling for white strom, like Oda straight up spelled it that way in the thing. And because that connotation, I was like, okay, they probably use that, and that probably in my Elbaph video, I was like, that probably comes from Elbaph. But the thing is, a lot of this mythos hasn't ever been like confirmed to be one thing or another. There's a lot of theories, and one of the other theories for what Jormungandr is rather than a ocean current, an ocean serpent, it was a sky serpent to represent like the Milky Way or slash the like the Northern Lights. When the Northern Lights come in, it's a giant like trail of lights that wind and twist and slowly serpentine across the sky. Obviously, back in the day, you'd romanticize that. Oh my God, this is a giant snake that wraps around the world and stuff like that. And similarly, Bifrost was sometimes, some people were like, it could just mean rainbows. Like it could just mean, because like the translation for it was never set in stone, and the context was very iffy. Like sometimes it was like light based, sometimes it's something that causes like an earthquake, so it could mean like geysers that shot up from the thing, like the knock-up stream. But that being said, the transportation route, if you just converted what I said back then about Elbaph having like some kind of oceanic thing, and you're just like, okay, maybe it's sky based and it's via these rainbows, that can make a lot of sense. Now, the only pushback on the Marineford thing that I have is that if Kaido and King were intercepting Whitebeard was coming underwater. So I still like the underwater route, because then it would make a lot more sense that like, well, if Whitebeard is going underwater and Shanks knew that, and then the King and Kaido were just in the sky, Shanks wouldn't have to do anything. He'd be like, all right, well, they're in the wrong thing. But then the other part,
Kaido isn't known for being smart.
The other thing that which would be hilarious, but then the other thing that would be funny is I not that I'm confident, like per se, like I'm not putting money down on it. I just think it'd be hilarious if we find out post post story, like not post story, I don't know how to say it, like in it wouldn't even be retcon. It'd be like in a Shanks flashback where he shows us how he made it to Marineford, and it was by a rainbow, and he just showed up and nobody noticed this giant ass rainbow from the sky that like, oh, where did Shanks come from? And what, like Shanks just like stopped the rainbow early just for like cool effect. Oh, I can't show them my rainbow. I don't want them to think I'm gay or something. Like, I don't know why. Like, I don't want them to know I support the LGBTQ. Like,
I gotta keep it a secret.
Yeah, like I don't know why he wouldn't just drop the rainbow in there, because like surely like the higher ups at Marineford know about rainbow transport. You know, it would be crazy if Garp would like, what the fuck is that rainbow? You know what I mean? Like that would be wild to me if Garp, Akainu, Sengoku would be like, we should really look into rainbows. You know what I mean? Like they should know about that shit, right? The people who matter should know, right? And then so like, but then as far as like it's, you can't do, you know how like at Marineford, a lot of it was like, oh man, what are these guys doing? Oh man, there's an invisible force hockey. You can't do that with the rainbow. You can't.
Submarines might not know.
No. But you can't have all of Marineford being like, I can't see the rainbow. Like,
no. But what if Shanks dropped himself off a little bit away so nobody could notice him, and you know his ship coming?
And it's he
wanted to come incognito.
I'm open. I'm
not a grand
open
entrance
to that idea. In my Godfather Shanks video, the way No. This is even before this. My observation hockey video. So this is the one where I said that like Shanks has some kind of hockey cancellation ability, and the one that I thought that he had was, it would make sense. And I think this is how I said it. Unless they have like some kind of stealth devil fruit, they had some way to conceal their observation, like conceal observation hockey, and we find out that Shanks has some ability that allows him to disable observation hockey. So that's where I'm like, I'm open to what you're saying, where it's like, yeah, sure, maybe the rainbow showed up and it just deleted instantly, whatever. But the thing that would push that for me is that Shanks did some kind of like hockey cancellation thing so that nobody could sense that they were there. And that would make a lot of sense. That would work with my idea. I've thought about that too. Like even in my idea where he comes underwater, you can't tell me that like Garp, Sengoku, Akainu just didn't sense like a Shanks level character showing up and multiple Yonko tier characters showing up. That wouldn't make sense either, right? So hockey cancellation had to make sense. Fast forward to Film Red, we find out hockey cancellation is a thing. To a certain extent, we don't know how exactly Oda's gonna put it in per se, but we did get an inkling, I guess, in Film Red, where like it was like the Shanks Katakuri situation, where it felt literally like he just like, boom, no more observation hockey, no more future sight for you, Katakuri. And then he's like, oh man, like it just kind of felt like that a little bit because it was so quick. Yeah, either way, Rainbow stream something, but coming from Elbaph, amazing. I love it. I love to see the way where it's like the version that I like, where your idea and my idea connect, or not my idea, my rationalization of your idea is that Shanks came in from the sky and then Akainu magma comets rained down, and Shanks is like, oh, this is perfect. I can hide into the magma so people don't know I'm gay. No, I'm joking about the gay jokes, but like the magma sky would be perfect, because then Akainu would kind of like know. You know what I mean? He'd be like, "Oh, damn it! I brought them here.
I brought the rainbow. Damn it!"
Yeah. You know what'd be crazy if Akainu knew that Shanks was coming down, and so he masked. So he had to keep the magma comment so that people wouldn't know that Shanks was showing up, and then that would make it that Akainu was a double agent. He wanted Shanks to intervene. That'd be crazy.
I don't think he would do that, but that would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Yeah.
No rational reasoning for that yet, but that would be crazy.
Yeah, unless he really hated the Gorosei.
Yeah, he's like I wanted to fail, actually.
Which would be funny because like Shanks is more Gorosei now than, or like more. We don't know where he lands with the Gorosei, but my man walked into, allegedly, if that was Shanks, he just walked in the room and just like talked to them. In a manner that they respected him more than his grandfather, right? Like when Garland went in, they're like, "Motherfucker, what are you in here for?" When Shanks came in, it's just like, "All right,
we only made the exception because it's you, Shanks," is what they said. Yeah.
Whereas for Garland, it was like, "Hey, you don't have clearance for this room." Like that was a crazy. Still to this day, I'm like, bro, they disrespected his granddaddy.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't like him either.
Wait, why wouldn't you like him?
For Garland?
Yeah.
I mean, I would like for Garland, but if I was a Gorosei member, I'd be like, damn, dude, he's sitting in Saturn's spot. Like, what is he doing? Like, they've known Saturn for probably longer.
They disrespected him before he even sat down. They didn't even know the context.
Yeah, because they didn't invite him.
They didn't invite Shanks either. They still treated him with. They said
No, it
guards, clear out.
sounded like Shanks. He made an appointment. He scheduled it.
No, he did not. They said, "What are you doing here?" They literally said, I didn't expect you," or something like that. They said that to Shanks also.
Well, I mean, he could have made an appointment, but they also could not have expected it, right? Like, imagine you are like an optometrist, and then your best friend makes an appointment. When he shows up, you're like, "Oh, I never expected you to come here. Like, you have perfect eyesight. What are you doing here?" Right? Yeah, it's like one of those things.
That's very I feel like it is that a lot of times I'm reading the situation that was just they're looking at itineraries. It's like Shanks isn't gonna show up. Why would he see?
Yeah, then they look at Shanks' name and they're like, "Oh, this must be his brother Panks or something." Maybe they just misspelled their name. What the hell? Surely it's not Shanks. The red hair.
I can't wait for us to finally get confirmation whether that was Shanks or not. It's just weird to have this conversation.
I think it's Shanks. I think it's Shanks.
Right, but
it's Shanks.
but you also are on the boat that there could be a brother double, right?
No, I am one of the few rare bred people out there that believes that it was Shanks, but yet Shanks also has a brother that looks like him, but he's gonna look different enough to where it's not the guy who showed up in the Gorosei room. That's where I stand.
Yeah.
There's no way Oda's gonna do like the twin thing where they look exactly the same. I mean, he's already done that with the Donachino family, because we had like a direct set of twins, but they just wore different shirts. So I doubt he's gonna reuse that exact same idea with Shanks. That'd be a little bit silly.
Is that Shanks is gonna feel like Sanji?
Okay, like the Vince. Yeah. No, I think that's the perfect route to go. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Like, they look the same, but there's enough distinguishable traits to where we can tell who's who. But yeah, this is an off-topic thing, but I kind of wish that after One Piece, there's a spin-off series about only the Gorosei and the Celestial Dragons and Akainu, where we just see their day-to-day lives, not fighting, but like just doing things like admin work, taking care of people, deciding what, who does what island do we destroy, what taxes are we putting on people. Because one of my favorite animes is Kaiji, and we defeat one of the major villains in season 1, and he pretty much dies or goes down. We never see him again. But after that, they made a spin-off show called Middle Manager Tonegawa, who's the villain. And we see him before he's defeated, and he's just over here doing admin work, memorizing his subordinates' names. He's writing schedules. And I was like, and then he also has like a superior, and he tries to appease them at every toss and turn. And I like to imagine that's what the Gorosei would be doing for Imu. Like, Imu didn't get their tea today. Quick, Mars! And then Mars is like super silly. Like, I would love just like a spin-off series where they're just having fun, like living life.
See, at first I was like, I can't defend you. Like, of course, an admiral fanboy, a Navy guy. Oh, so he doesn't like the world government, but he wants an entire series dedicated to them and their slice of life behind the scenes.
You gotta admit, it sounds like fun.
I would never be opposed to that. More One Piece, I'd like it. The thing that makes me think that that's possible is the live action, because Oda kind of went that route with that part, right? Like the decision to give so much, like the sailor life of a navy, right? Like we never got that in One Piece, but we got that in the thing, and that's a very real aspect to it. We I think half of like some of the episodes were just like seeing people tie knots on a ship, and I'm like, this is real.
It's fun.
This is it.
It's fun.
Yeah, and there's a good way to add some filler to a thing. This could have been an entire spinoff, and it's like, if you treat the One Piece live action as it's like a spinoff side. Like, the Straw Hats alternate reality, but the Navy is like, we're just getting their slice of life. Kind of makes a little bit more sense,
Imagine, okay, like imagine this, for example. I have two scenes off the top of my head that I'm just gonna throw out there. And Toei, if you're listening, you can have these ideas. Same with Oda, but
if you're listening,
like imagine the Gorosei. Like, we start off an episode, and there's like a blackened shot of all the Gorosei saying, "Hey, this is an emergency. Call the Red Dog. Call Akainu up here immediately." And then Akainu shows up, and then he's like, "Yeah, like what do you geezers want?" And they're like, "Akainu, the coffee machine's down. We need help." Or like, imagine like they're like, "Oh, like we have another shot where they're like, oh, commence the Buster call." And then we pan over and they're just like bukkakeing a girl, right? like a gangbang, all releasing their cannons. And it's like, dude, like there could be a lot of really silly scenes with the Gorsei, Akainu, Emu. Oh my god, throw Emu in there. Like Emu has a butterfly and the butterfly like poops on his hand. He's like, what do I do about this?
Can we back up? I just want to re-ask these. What would Toei be listening for exactly in that last pitch?
Brilliant ideas, Par. They'd be listening for brilliant ideas.
I like how you preface
Take
it.
notes,
Toei,
Toei.
If you're listening,
Toei,
I got a rated R scene for you.
Let me tell you, Toei, my prices are low. It's Black Friday. Cyber Monday's around the corner.
No,
oh man!
crazy.
Hopefully, I can get this video by Sunday, so the Cyber Monday joke lands.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'd be great. I think that'd be great.
Hopefully, the idea is sticky.
Yeah, what a sticky situation. Oh, we can even see Ginny in there.
Speaking of sticky situations, we saw Robin.
Yeah,
I almost didn't recognize her.
Really? No, Robin looks great.
Like when I was looking at the panels, I was not that I didn't recognize her. Like my brain went back. I was just like, "Wait, do we see Robin? Did we see Robin?" And then like I reread it for Robin when I was like, reading it the first time. I was like, "Oh, there we go. There's Robin." And the whole
great,
moral of the story. It's like sometimes new doesn't have to be like change. It could just be going back to something old. You know, nostalgia.
Yeah,
and
I love it.
That's what this is.
Yeah, I held a poll on whether or not people like the bangs, and people overwhelmingly like the bangs. So that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah.
So
emphasis.
We see that Hardin and Stanson, they're following on the rainbow. They're going up to the Sun Realm. And let me see, what is the next thing we see? We cut over to Luffy's group. Luffy shoots up from the underworld and he meets Gerd and Goldberg, which is pretty fun. You know, he sees the Thousand Sun and he's like, oh, like, guys, what is this? And then obviously, they're very apologetic, saying, hey, sorry, we're not like a road, or I love humans. I'm not like him. And I thought it was kind of funny because Luffy doesn't know Road. You know, like they don't know that guy's name. They don't know like who it is underneath the mask. So I like to imagine Luffy's just super confused. He's like, what? Huh? Road.
Yeah.
But yeah, that all happens, and they ask Luffy, like, oh, what were you doing down there? You must have been brought here against your will. And that is when Luffy lets loose an expression. He is shocked. He doesn't know what to do. And it's funny that the other Straw Hats aren't here. And I think that's, again, smart, like, placement from Oda, because if the Straw Hats were here, they would know something's up. Like, you put Nami here, Usopp, or anybody else, they see Luffy make that face, they're like, holy hell, something bad went down. Luffy's up to something. But
it's also funny because, like, so my best friend came over. He's Japanese. Yeah. He... spoilers, officials, whatever. But he didn't, because like TCB didn't post. So he's like, he came over and he's like, oh, did TCB post? Like, he's like, did the chapter drop early? He's fine with spoilers too. And he's just like, I just saw that they posted like one line spoiler this week. And so he doesn't care. And I told him some of the highlights, or not highlights, but I told him like, oh damn, like Luffy made the craziest face I've ever seen. Like, I don't think Oda's ever drawn Luffy looking like this ever. And he's like, oh, is it because Oda's sick? Blah, blah, blah. That's what he thought. And I was like, no, like it's a good thing. But like, it's also like, I've never, like, I don't even know how to describe this face, because I don't think Luffy's ever like made like a shocked, scared, like worried face like this. Like, I don't know if like Luffy, not that Luffy's never been put in this situation, but I guess the expression is kind of telling us like the gravity of what would happen between him and Loki. And like, that's what it's trying to build up for us. And I just couldn't describe it to him, but I'm sure that he sees it today. It's a very interesting place thing, because then it leads you into the very real thing. It was like, wait a second, what happened with the Loki thing? And then we just leave off on a cliffhanger, essentially. And then I kind of thought about it, and I was just like, I guess it kind of makes sense to be cliffhanger, because it's not like Luffy would be able to break him out because of sea stone chains, so he would need the key. So I guess his mission is just to get the key. So that would mean that he makes a deal with him, leaves, Loki's still locked up, Luffy's trying to get the key, and I guess Luffy's gonna try and smoke. Like, it's probably gonna be that he tries to steal the key while he's with everybody, and it's very obvious.
Obvious, yeah. It's gonna be crazy.
And everyone's like, Luffy? And then none of the Straw Hats are gonna know either. The Straw Hats are gonna be like, what is he doing? What is that key? and then they have to explain. It's like Luffy, stop, and it's gonna be like Luffy against his own crew. But then it would be whatever Loki promised is has to be so big that he doesn't tell his own crew, right? Like,
Um,
it's weird.
I don't know. The way I see it right now is that some of the crew would kind of let Luffy do his thing. And that's kind of how it's been, right? Like the crew, they see Luffy do something, they're like, "Oh, I mean, that's our captain. You know, he always knows what's best, sure." But there's also a part of it where, like, if there was to be one dissenter, it would be Usopp. Because Usopp, he has been the one reason why we have not killed Road yet. He's protected Road time and time again, saying, "Hey, we don't know what's happening. We don't want to antagonize the giants." Even in this chapter, you know, that's why they do the tree, right? Usopp didn't want to hurt the giants directly. So if there was one person to go against Luffy here, it would be him.
That is exactly why I set it up this way, because I feel like it makes more sense that Luffy doesn't tell the crew. Most of the crew sides with Luffy, but it's like the Enies lobby, not any Water 7, Usopp versus Luffy. Usopp is like, "Yo, let's not mess with the giants, bro. Like, they're saying this is bad. I trust them, blah, blah, blah." And like the trust is going to be super, you know, like Oda's going to substantiate it. Community's going to hate it. This is probably going to be post Sunstone Usopp, if that's the power up. It's going to be post like whatever power up Usopp, I'm assuming, which is kind of weird timeline wise, because that would mean that we're going to give a little bit more time in between Luffy getting this key, assuming that's the route we're going. Yeah, assuming that's the route, because it would be way too fast for Usopp to get the Sunstone and then be proficient, because the Water 7 situation was like he already had the dials. He had already had the dials from Skypiea, and he was already proficient in them. And then he used them in a super cracked way against Luffy. So, like, if we were to do full parallel Sunstone now, and he used Sunstone against the Sun God, Luffy's, like, has to deal with Usopp's imagination, which is what the Water 7 fight was, essentially. And it would be really cracked timeline-wise, because we're at a point where, similar to Water 7, where Luffy's, like, undefeatable, right? Yes, he fought Lucci, and he was, like, you know, so like he not met his match, but like, you know, like there, it's not that he didn't have no threats. He already saw Kuzan, there was a threat, but now it's like, as far as threats go, Usopp is threatening him, which is crazy, right? Like at that point where we're seeing Luffy's cracked. And now at this point, I think most of the community is like, "Yo, I don't even know what can stop Luffy." And then the crazy part is that Oda can make it that Usopp is like, figure shit out. And it's like, "I know you. I know your powers. I know how it works. And I'm going to use the power of imagination against you to stop you." And it might be that Usopp like actually succeeds to a certain point. And then like, I don't know what the resolution, obviously, because I think the main difference when I was thinking about this is like the Going Merry is a way different contention point than like Loki, right? Like Loki, Usopp backing up some like random dude, whatever. That's a way different thing than the Going Merry, as far as like trying to cope or rationalize why Usopp would go to bat, except for the part where Usopp's, like you're saying, Road, giants in general, the place that they hold. Like even in this chapter, we get this spread, which I think was one of my favorite pages so far in the last year, is where they do the flashback thing, where it's just a little bit later, where like we see this amazing panel, and then we see Luffy and Usopp have the flashback of like pre-time skip, and we see him crying. And I just kind of looked at that as like, you know, whether or not like you feel for Usopp, like I'm sure a lot of people have felt like it's like basically like euphoria of like having to wait for something for so long, something you waited for your entire life, and you finally get it. And like that feeling, like being so happy that you cried, right? That's what Usopp's feeling right now. Maybe that drives him to the point where like he's like, "Yo, like I'm not trying to mess this up. I'm not trying to." And the other part is like, as far as the Straw Hats go, this is like Usopp's dream part, right? Like this, he's like literally standing on top of his dreams. He wants to be a brave warrior of the sea, and this is the location. That would be like That'd be like Sanji wanting, if he wanted to be the greatest cook, right? And then he's at the All Blue, like, or you know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing where like Luffy wants to be Pirate King and he's standing on Laugh Tale, and there's someone who's threatening that dream. You know what I mean? So that is the kind of gravity Oda could give Usopp, except it's a lot more vague, right? Like, it's not like being the brave warrior of the sea isn't contingent on siding with the giants. You know what I mean? So that's why it's a little bit more flimsy. But I think that's the route. Like when I saw this thing, I'm like, okay, he's wants to get the key. That makes him a villain. He doesn't tell his crew, so Usopp doesn't know. Usopp fights him there, but then I'm like, there's other ways it can go down. But right now, the face that Luffy's making, the way he's going about it, the way they just slide by it, I feel like that's the way it happens. And it's kind of like Shirahoshi, right? Luffy kidnapped the princess, and he's a criminal for that. And the other Straw Hats was like, all right, I'm sure there's a reason he did that, so like they just kind of rolled with it. And I think they rolled with it, and then Zoro was just like, well, we're gonna take out the castle anyways, and he just kind of like took everyone out, and fought everybody. It didn't matter who it was, whose side it was. It's like all you guys need to calm down. I'm Zoro, you know what I mean? And it just didn't matter at that point. And I'm sure Zoro's gonna have another moment like that, but it'll be interesting if Usopp's on the other side of that fight. If it's Zoro versus Usopp, would be kind of crazy.
I mean, Usopp versus anybody would be kind of crazy. I mean, during Wano, he didn't fight Page One really, right? He just lost.
Yeah. And then
so I'd be down for any Usopp fight at this point.
Dude,
I'm starved for Usopp.
Usopp versus Zoro would be kind of insane. Ooh,
Usopp versus Zoro, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm saying that in the sense of like, yeah, obviously Zoro wins, but like it's like the Water 7 situation. Oda makes the fight where Usopp goes, I know how the King of Hell fights, and then he does some shit.
I mean,
to
Usopp
stop
probably
Zoro.
knows how everybody fights at this point, dude. He's just always sidelined.
He's just a terrible version of Batman, and like, actually, no, maybe he's a better version of Batman, because Batman treats his friends like they're the enemy, like Joker. He's really friends with Joker. He knows how to fight. He knows how he thinks.
He doesn't
knows
kill
like
Joker, so yeah. I mean, they're like best buddies at that point.
At least Usopp is like real about it. It's like, I'm on a crew with them, At this point, Batman should just be like, I'm with you, Joker.
Yeah,
like,
Joker, how would you like a little vacation to Arkham Asylum for another week? Be good in there. You'll get out soon.
Yeah, damn. Usopp, oh man, everyone's gonna hate Usopp.
I don't think so. I think people have respect for him for standing on business.
I know that's true. At this point, but no, because I'm saying like there's still people to this day that think that Usopp's the worst Straw Hat for fighting Luffy at Water 7, right? And they'll use that, be like, he's a loser for that. He betrayed the crew. In a similar vein with like Sanji and the Whole Cake Island situation, they'll like betraying the crew in any form. They'll be like, oh, because of that, they're lower Straw Hats, right?
Yeah.
And so if that happens on Elbaph, it's gonna be a discussion at the minimum. Me and you aren't going to see it that way.
I would like this more than the Water 7 one, because for Water 7, I didn't agree with Usopp. But if he did it over here to side with the Giants and say, hey, let's not free this criminal, I think this is a lot more reasonable than like, oh, like we should move from the going merry.
I also feel like this one might be crazier because he's fighting like God. like
yeah. But I think it's meaningful though, because it shows that a regular human, Usopp, can stand up to a god. I think the messaging behind all of this would be really good too.
It would be insane. Yeah, it's gonna be insane when we get it. And then and then that's perfect because Hyruden already. This is our god, guys. This is the guy I anointed. I am the royal prince to the throne.
Maybe
he is my savior.
People are saying there could be like a Davy back fight here in Elbaph, but instead of a Davy back fight, what if it's just like Luffy versus Usopp and they make it a spectacle, right? They're like, oh, this is the land of war. We have traditions. If there's a dispute, like Usopp wants to stop Luffy wants to do it. If there's a dispute, you have like, a day or two to prepare. And then that's when the Giants make Usopp like the sun hammer, like sun, weapons. And that's when Usopp can start planning. Like that is when we could get a lot of fun stuff happening, right? Where Usopp goes around Elbaph and prepares for his fight against Luffy. And in this way, it's not like a Water 7 battle where they're like hating each other and they want to kill each other, but it's more of like, oh, like this is a friendly battle, but it's still a battle. So that after Luffy or Usopp wins, there's no like bad blood there.
Yeah, and then the Water
It's
7
beautiful.
situation, they scheduled that fight.
Yeah, they
And then
scheduled
I
it.
think at first they didn't know where Usopp was. They were like, "Oh, he's not going to show up," blah blah blah, or
But
something like that.
Usopp, dude, Luffy knew. Luffy knew Usopp was gonna show up. He never doubted
Yeah,
him.
and then imagine doing that here, where it's just like Usopp like mimic with Sunstone, he starts mimicking Kizaru stuff, like just all this crazy because he's seen Luffy. Oh man,
This is gonna be good. But the thing is, like, I feel like the Sunstone, right? If he does get the Sunstone, that's how he fights. What I like about this is that it doesn't instantly make him overpowered. I think it's still like it's capped by his imagination and his craftiness. And at the end of the day, he's
yeah,
still human, right? You know, a
yeah,
couple punches from Luffy, Usopp is done. Like Usopp's health bar is super low. So I do
yeah.
think that this Sunstone is like a good equalizer. It's a good middle ground of a power up, but not too crazy to where like he's breaking Zoro at this point, or he's defeating Sanji or something like that.
Yeah,
It's very specific, and it's all based on Usopp's knowledge of the crew as well. He
yeah,
know like
yeah,
like the whole Luffy fight. Like, oh, I know how to fight you, Luffy, because I've seen you fight so many times. That's
yeah,
exactly how it is.
dude. I'm so
I'm ready for it.
like
Our head
that.
cannon. Our head cannon is set so high.
Yeah, no,
Oh
like
man.
it's not even because like to yes, these specific ideas we ran down to like the nth tier how it comes out, but the reason why I'm excited is because we had multiple Usopp potential things, and all of them seemed kind of like just like it's not even it didn't take that much brain power, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that there's so many means that we're in for some kind of, that's the direction. That's kind of how I see it. This is the direction, and the direction is vast. And so anything in this purview, it's going to be exciting. Luffy versus Usopp, it could go down hundreds of different ways. And now you just add in the element of Sunstone, boom, craziness. That's already insane. You add like the Water 7 parallel, boom, insanity. You add that it's Giant and Usopp versus Luffy and Loki, like, you know what I mean? Like crazy. What the heck is happening? Oh man, it's just
Yeah, if
it's
the
and
other
then
Straw
like
Hats join in, that'll be so much fun too.
yeah, and then here's the thing, right? Like right now I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking, I think I know what Loki's promise is. I think that Loki probably figured out Luffy likes meat. And he probably's like, hey, there's a mythical meat here, and I could give it to you. Nobody
Shanks
else knows.
and meat, it's over.
Yeah, and I think the little like Luffy's just like, oh my god, like he probably said there's a cow that only gives birth like every full moon on a Sunday and Thursday, and Loki's like, yeah, I know where the baby cow is. It's my pet. And then Luffy's like, can I eat it? And then like Loki's like, only if you free me. And then Luffy's like,
I
all
have a
right,
golden cow.
the veal. I love that. You know what I mean? Like my man ate rabbit and like whatever, and then all he has to do is promise meat. You know what I mean? I
What's your
feel like that's
favorite
the
meat?
promise. What's my favorite meat?
Yeah, like seafood, or like, I mean, just what do you like eating specifically? Sorry, I just thought about that. I'm like, huh.
If K Barbecue had more bison, I'd probably be down for
Ooh,
that. But I'm just
bison's
beef.
good. That's a good answer.
Yeah, yeah, I like bison. The first time I had it, it's like I don't like gamey meat, but then the bison I had, I was like, this makes me feel like a man. Like I felt
Yeah,
coked up. You know what I mean? Like, I was
there's a
just
lot
like,
of bison here in
whoa.
Oklahoma,
Yeah, yeah.
but we don't
I
eat
had
it
it
here
down
though. I
south.
mean, it's so sad. It's such a rare thing to find.
Oh, like in the wild
Wait.
bison.
Bison is buffalo, right?
I think so,
Okay,
right? Or
so
ox? I don't know.
it's because
Those
of Buffalo
large.
Bill.
I don't know what it is. Someone told me that we don't have bison anymore or something like that. I don't remember.
I think it's
But the
because of
point
Buffalo
is,
Bill.
what Buffalo Bill? It made them extinct or something, right?
Yeah.
Something like
Buffalo.
that?
I always thought Buffalo Bill was like a really cool ass guy, but it turns out that he like exterminated the bison.
Something like that. All I know is the big hairy cows. That's what I'm talking about. I had some of
Yeah,
that, and whichever name we're putting on them now, that's the one I had when I was in Georgia, and I was like, "Boo, that this shit's kind of good. We
it's
can't get more
amazing.
of it." Yeah, this shit's kind of bomb. And the K barbecue place is kind of, hey, let me just try it one time, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
so with this though, I gotta say, my favorite food, crawfish.
Crawfish?
Yeah, I really love crawfish.
Crawfish is like more like shrimp or more like lobster.
It's like a mixture. It's the
mixture.
size
See,
of
I don't
shrimp,
like
but it's like
either.
lobster. You have to kind of like peel it out.
Yeah. Wait. So wait. I saw videos of this where like crawfish will just be like praising the sun or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. They do that a lot. Those
yeah, I
bastards,
thought
man.
that was it was like super cute, but then it got scary because then like the video I saw like it was like one crawfish in the middle of the road just praising the sun, and then it just panned to like a field of them, and I was like, what is happening? They got a
There's
whole
a
cult
I
of
saw a video where
crawfish.
like a crawfish was doing that, and then he like fell in a pot of like boiling oil.
Oh yeah. I saw one like that too, where the guy it's one of those transition ones where it's just like just he takes the thing like it's going like that, and then the transition was he's holding it by the claws and just drops it the thing.
Yeah, he
I
just
saw something like
dies.
that.
It's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
Oh
love cooking
man.
my own crawfish, so I have like whenever it's in season, I'll get a whole bunch of them and just put them in my bathtub and just have them chill for a little
Mm,
bit.
damn, that's a fun time. You
Yeah,
ever like take a
yeah.
bath with them?
I
Just
don't take
like
a bath with them
marinating?
anymore, but like when I was a kid, I did like throw a couple in the bathtub with me, or like I would like tear off their claws so they can't hurt me, and then I like stab them and I just like play with them like a little airplane.
Yeah,
I
see,
think
you
I
seem
talked about
like
that
that
story
kind of.
before, but
No, you haven't, but it's
uh,
fine. I already knew that those. If
yeah.
you're watching at this point, if you're a new viewer, I apologize, but go definitely go watch the 50/50
What do you think?
size remediated.
What do you think the bar of entry is for the podcast? Do you think people like tune in and they're like, "Oh, I want to stay," or do you think we just have the same viewers just over and over every week? Like,
Well,
do you
we
think it's a
got
high
that
bar to
person.
entry?
We got a few people on Twitter saying that we were their most watched or listened to
Yeah, but they're
podcast.
returning viewers though. I'm saying like a brand new person into One Piece. What are the chances are they listen to us and they're like, "Wow, like this is my first time." Like chapter 1132, they're great.
We are getting new viewers. I don't know about into the. Oh, are you talking about Parcast or going to the 50/50?
Both.
Both? Okay, 50/50 bar of entries high. I think they'd have to listen to 2 months of Parcasts, and then they'll be
Inclinated
primed
to
for
go to the
50/50.
50-50. Yeah.
Yeah, if they don't make it to 2 months, I don't think they would try the 50/50.
Yeah, and the 50-50 podcast is a me and Par's podcast on the side that we do whenever there's a break week on One Piece. But
Yeah.
I'll link it
Or
down below.
yeah,
But so,
yeah.
what about the
Or
bar of
we
entry for
attempt to.
this?
This, I think. So I mean I've seen people comment on my streams like they'll say, "Oh, this is my first stream." Like yesterday they had that, and they stuck through the entire stream. That's usually a good thing to see when someone says comments they're engaging, and then they stay till the end. And so I think if that person would come onto a podcast, I think from your videos, less people would probably watch me and you. They'd probably more likely watch you and Brago rather than me and you. But if there was a person, I would say probably a new viewer onto your videos, they would probably give this a try. And then if they don't like me, they wouldn't stay to try Brago. But if they like you, they definitely, I think they would just stay. And then on my end, I think it's more likely that if they like the stream, they'll probably come to the podcast or the Parcast. Because we're kind of the same thing on our stream. We just talk about different things, right? Different
Yeah.
parts of their different like we go through the community stuff, the comments, that kind of thing. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, I think a
A
month
month?
of yeah, a month of your videos they probably give this a try, and then probably like 2 weeks of my streams. If they come to my streams, then they would come to the podcast probably.
Yeah, I think what's kind of easy about the bar of entry is that we do like this long form content. So they could just throw it on as like background noise, which is what I do for like YouTube videos.
Yeah,
Like I don't even have to
yeah.
pay attention. I'm just like, oh, this video is like 3 hours long. Cool. I'll throw this on and play League of Legends and kill myself afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. I think it comes with what's listenable, right? Because like a lot of
Yeah.
my viewers, when because I've been on hiatus, they'll be like, "Oh, damn! Like it's been a while since I heard Par's voice." And a lot of people put like my long videos on in the background, same thing, right? But each person has their own preference for what's on in the background. So it's like obviously my viewers like to hear me in the background, your viewers like to hear you in the background, but some people might not like hearing you or me in the background. So then that's their, like,
Yeah.
oh shit,
It
yeah.
comes to like
So
personal
that's like
taste at that point, which I understand.
yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
normal. That's
Everybody has
expected.
taste.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I think a month is probably
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a safe bet.
that's respectable.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So hey guys, give us a month of it.
yeah, listen to us for a month, and then after 2 months, you can go to the 50-50. But hopefully, you guys are having a good time here. You know, we're just kind of two guys chilling. We're just, I don't know. Like when I think about what we do, we just talk about One Piece like friends, I guess.
Yeah. Talk about
like
it as
like
if
friends. We're not actually friends. This is purely a business relationship.
just two guys going through
Transactional.
life. Yeah, and then we just at the end of the week we're like, what's this goofy guy doing
Yeah, what's
on
this
black and
loser?
white?
Has cancer taken Par out yet?
Oh no.
Is
Is he
he
a
dead?
Yakuza character yet?
Yeah, is that
Is he the
Kiryu
main
Kazuma?
Yeah, did cancer knock on his door this morning?
Another brawl with the beast, eh?
Dude, crazy.
That's good, man. So let's see here. Luffy, Gerd, Goldberg, all of them. That was good. Good reaction. Blah blah. Road. We got the conclusion of Road. Were you excited?
Define conclusion.
Well, he stopped chasing us for now. I'm sure we'll see him again. He's like one of those characters that you just don't get rid of right away. I kind of equate him to Elbaph's Caribou. Because like after this, he's not going to antagonize the Straw Hats anymore, I think. But he is going to be around us, and he's still going to be like a little bit discriminatory. But yeah, I see him being like a Caribou-esque character, where he's always plotting in the background.
Yeah, that's not a bad. I'm trying to think if there's another. No, I think you're probably. That's not a terrible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
that
sweet.
Works. Yeah. The only difference is like Caribou didn't have like oversight, right? He was the leader. So whereas like this time he has Gerd, Goldberg. I like the dichotomy Oda created with Gerd and Road, like how they have a similar disposition, but like it's two different extremes, and like it was funny. It was funny because I was saying, I forgot how I was saying it, but like Road being like he likes Nami and he also likes Gerd, and I was like, oh, you just pick a lane. Like he can't just like everybody, blah blah. And then so I said that, and I was like, wait a second. If I was like Nami and Gerd were standing in front of me, I'd be the same way. And then the chat was like, true.
Yeah.
Like, because everyone was like, Road, gross, whatever, blah blah. I was like,
I'd be more interested in Gerd because like that's his size. You know what I mean? Like what are you gonna do with the Nami?
Yeah, but then like when I was saying like he's like because he has the weird connotation, right? And then I was just like, yeah, he's weird, but like that part's separate. There's a normal side, and the normal side's like Nami Gerd. I think everybody in my chat was like, all right, fair. I guess we're the same. And I was like, see, sometimes you have to.
We're
like,
all the same. We all got a little bit of Roto in us, right?
Yeah, and Sanji a little bit. Everyone said true, and I'm like, Sanji be the same way. You know what I mean? And so like, and that, you know, and then this. And here's another thing. Gerd is similar to Road too. She literally had to distinctify, or that's not a word, but distinguish. That's the word. She had to distinguish the difference. She's like, we're the same, but not the same. It's a different font. You know what I mean? Like, but we moved to the same beat. Essentially, of like, you tiny humans.
Yeah, they're so obsessed with people. I said that Gerd and Road, they're like two sides of a coin. That's what they are. Mm-hmm. It's the same coin, but two different sides.
And at first, I liked that version better. I didn't see that coming because at first I thought when I was like, what'd she say? She said to Luffy, she's like sweating. She's like, oh, like, you must be Luffy. And then in her head, she's like, he's so cute. And I'm like, God damn it, Luffy! The main character protagonist aura harem, like this shit's gone too far. You didn't even do anything this time. That's not even fair. You know what I mean? Like at least in all the generic animes, it's like the main character accidentally saves the girl and the girl's like, oh my god, I'm gonna follow you for the rest of my life, I love you. Luffy just showed up and then she's like, oh my god, he's so cute. And I'm like, that's not even fair at this point. How do we
he's got the power, man. He's like Tomorrow Black, right? He's got all the strength and power and fame behind him. Who wouldn't like Luffy at that point?
And he didn't use any iota of it. I
don't. You see the way he posed up? He hit like a seductive, squat on Gerd's hand.
Yo, that's what dude. That's the aura. You squat on a girl like that, you got her.
Yeah,
bro.
you got like the musk coming out of Luffy's crotch just flying in her face. Like, I mean, it's.
You get to that stage with the girl.
That's crazy, man.
You got it unlocked, bro. Like
exactly.
That's how you know you got emotion. But like that, what I'm saying with like Luffy, right? Like at least if she went like, oh my god, he's the sun god. You know what I mean? Like none of that clout. Oh my god, this is the guy who saved Captain. None of it. None of it. Oh my god, he beat Doflamingo, Kaido, Big Mom. None of it. It just went, you must be Luffy. He's so cute. Stop it, Luffy. You can't win every girl. Leave some for the rest of us.
Wait till she finds out that he can go gigantic mode.
Oh,
it'll be
dude,
over.
That was the second thought. I literally said, bro, the fan fictions are gonna go too far. It's
gonna be good, man.
Dude, no.
It's already out there. You can't stop it.
Is it? Is it already out there?
Not with Gerd, but like other people, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
There's a lot of them, man. There's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. So let's see here. They hit Road with the tree so that they don't directly attack him. That's nice. And then Gerd and Goldberg hit him from behind with a like I would say it's like an unnamed Hakaku sovereignty, right? You see the pose, you see the weapons. They kind of remind me of Big Mom and Kaido because Goldberg has a Kanabo. I was like, what the hell? What's going on here? It was kind of insane to see, to be honest.
Yeah, I also just realized the part that really looks like Caribou is that page where he goes quickly. Oh wait, before everyone else finds out, I have to lock up more securely than before. That part, that's Caribou right there.
Oh
like,
yeah,
when he's going after the mermaids, that's literally the same parallel. Like Caribou would be looking at him like, brother, like,
yeah,
we're triplets.
They would get along really well, I think. Well, maybe not, because Caribou's a human. Yeah, I forgot.
We don't know that either. That guy.
Caribou? I mean, well, Gecko Moria is classified as human. Like, humans are kind of weird, man. Humans are weird in the series. I mean, Whitebeard, I know people like to say he's a buccaneer, but, until we hear otherwise, he is classified as a human.
Whitebeard's the buccaneer that you put on magazines. This is what a buccaneer. The model minority is Whitebeard.
Yeah, it's him, guys. Yeah, I could see Whitebeard on like a men's health magazine, kind of like what? No, he's like the Hulk Hogan of the universe, right?
Yeah. The One Piece is real.
Love Hulk Hogan.
Just that pose, just like men's health. Like this can add 6 inches. Like it's just Whitebeard pose.
If you want a mustache like Whitebeard, which is entirely artificial, do these 6 workout routines.
Yeah, the Liver King does a collab with Whitebeard. My brother, how's that liver going? And he just eats raw liver.
Ooh, Whitebeard, Liver King, and Hulk Hogan in a room. My God! And then put The Rock in there too. It's like the Clash of the Titans, man. Fast and Furious,
and then Whitebeard shows up as like the Thanos character, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson's like, oh my God.
Oh wait, who do you think would win? Liver King, The Rock, and Hulk Hogan versus Whitebeard.
Whitebeard, bro. Whitebeard clocks their asses.
Would you? Okay. Do you think that Oda would want Whitebeard to win? Because you have to remember, Oda does like real life actors a lot. So if Oda's a fan of one of these guys, he would instead want a draw, which, people want to headcanon like, oh, Whitebeard we're destroying. But like at the same time, Oda, he really likes actors in like real life movies. So there's a chance that he's like, yo, like, I don't want Whitebeard to beat my heroes.
He's okay with Luffy losing to Goku, so
He was. And then he clashed with
yes.
like what, Toriko, and he kind of got pushed back a little bit. Like, it happens.
Yeah. He wasn't about to give Toriko that much clout. He was like, all right, little
Yeah.
bro. Like, stay in your lane.
Hopefully you guys have watched the Toriko Dragon Ball Z One Piece crossover. Good episodes. Not good. I think plot wise they're very weak, but
Enjoyable.
It's fan fiction. Yeah. It's enjoyable.
Yeah, it's very odd that it exists, but
It shouldn't exist.
But yeah, I'm not mad at watching it. I remember it, all of it. It's 2 episodes and it's great, and it's something that I would put on an award list. Absolutely not. But is it something that I rewatched once or twice to like, did that really
Just have
happen,
fun? Yeah.
or did I dream this shit?
Come on, Zoro meeting Vegeta? My God, why did that happen? They didn't do anything.
Dude.
They said, hey, you're strong. Oh, you're strong. And then that was it. I mean,
Yeah, I remember
fiction,
I brought
dude.
it up when I like not first started, like a year into the channel. I was like, oh man, that reminds me of when Luffy fought Goku and Toriko, and my chat was like, what? And I was like, wait, you guys, because I was anime only, so I watched that. And not in the manga, so it's like, wait, what? And I showed them, and they're like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, this is a real
This
thing.
happened, guys.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite. It was like when, as an anime viewer, you're already getting bottom of the barrel for many. Like I wasn't tuning into for One Piece for like every episode was gonna be the highlight. It was just every week watch One Piece thing, and it's like, oh damn, we got filler this week, whatever. And I was like, wait a second, Toriko, Goku. All right,
Why are you
I'm
guys
locked in.
here?
Yeah, give me the popcorn for this one. That was that week. I remember pausing. I was like, what are we doing today? Like, that was a good time though.
Good times, man. I wish
And
they
it
still
only
did that.
happened because I think the first episode was a Toriko episode, and the second episode was the One Piece episode. So I watched Toriko, and when I watched the weekly Toriko episode, Luffy was there, and I was like, wait, what? What are we doing? And then that's the One Piece episode came later. I think that's how the crossover happened, where like officially it's like the first part of the crossover is the Toriko thing, and the One Piece people got the second half. And if you wanted to know the first thing, you had to watch Toriko to get into it, so that was the gateway. But yeah, very, very
Good times,
cool stuff.
man. Good times.
Yeah, good times.
So now that Roto has been defeated, Luffy and Usopp, they run off and they see Elbaph. But before, they run off and see Elbaph. We don't see it yet because we go back to Dorian Brogy and their group, and they tell us about the 3 layers of Elbaph. We got like the Sun World, Underworld, Heaven World, and we've already talked about the Underworld and Sun World. What do you think about the Heaven World? A little bit strange, huh?
I think it is strange. I think it might be that the Heaven World's missing, but we'll see, I guess. Like, not missing per se, but like
they got cut off.
Oh, the officials went with Astral.
Oh wait, what? Really? Oh yeah, Astral World.
Sun and Under. They went with, instead of Heaven, Sun, and Death or Dead, they went with Astral, Sun, and Underworld, which still fits. Astral's a very fun word
like
to throw around.
Text.
Has very interesting connotations. But I think if Astral World still is here, I think a majority of it is missing. That's kind of my take on it. And some people might already know what I'm going with it, but I don't want to talk too much about it because there's videos behind it. My earbuds keep falling out. Sorry about that, guys. But
got loose ears, man.
I got big ears, big ear holes.
Big ears.
Yeah, so if you guys see me like reaching over places, don't worry, it's just my earbuds.
Yeah, the Astral World is very different from like the Heaven World that all the other translations went with. And it's again like, who do we go with? All right, do we go with the official? Do we go with the fan translations? I'm not exactly sure yet, which might sound crazy to some people, but I mean the fan translations have been pretty accurate for a lot of things. So it's hard to like, say that it's like worthless and we should go with the officials right away, especially when the Viz official has had to correct itself and meet
Yeah.
the fan subs in the middle.
I
So
like
it's hard to
Astral.
say. Yeah, I like Astral a lot though.
Yeah, I like it's one of those ones where I like it more if there's meaning behind it. Because Astral could be, I think, like definition wise, astral would be kind of like non-physical. Like that's
Yeah.
what people think of astral projection. But there's another connotation which would be astral, like astral navigation, which would be like the way seafarers were supposed to be. Like the One Piece world is very odd because they don't use the stars to navigate, which is how we kind of sailed, is the stars, and that's astral navigation. So it's like that word is interesting because heaven and well, no, heaven was the main one. Heaven, that like connotes like a higher level of existence, whereas astral might just mean like not necessarily a higher level of existence, but more like a more profound level of existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, the connotations are also similar,
And like a different
but there
dimension
is a
entirely.
distinction. Yeah, there's like a different,
Like where the ghosts
there's
gather.
a slightly different meaning than what heaven would mean, right? Like superiority is kind of like heaven is superior, better, good. Astral doesn't have a good like connotation. Heaven does, right? People want to go to heaven. Not many people want to go to the astral plane. You know what I mean? Like
I would want to visit at least once or twice.
yeah, but like it's not like people are like, oh, like I gotta be a good person to go to heaven instead of hell. You know what I mean? And whereas like it would make, we have an underworld or a hell or a death, and you would want to go to heaven instead, and it's above, it has that superiority thing. But astral doesn't really have like that hard set like God, like was it Jesus, like I don't know, all the God symbols. They're not telling you to go to the astral plane, they're telling you to be a good person to go to heaven, right?
Yeah, it's like tomato though. Like it's close enough, but I get what you mean. There is that like nuance between it, right? Like for heaven, it's like you have to be a good person or whatever, and then there's like the astral where it's like, oh, if you're a spirit, you could just go there. You're chilling.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm kind of curious now. It's like how, okay, because we don't see a village up there, right? It's just the top of the tree, which it's either that the astral world dash heaven world is inside of the tree, or like in the canopy, like the very top of it, like surrounded by leaves, hidden by the leaves, or it would be like how would you say, like a sky island even above the tree, which wouldn't make too much sense because we didn't see like a sky island above it. But I mean, that's what makes the most sense.
Yeah, I'm going with that second one, and that's why I'm saying it's missing. Yeah,
it floated off. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's a good answer.
But if I had any guide to heaven, any guide to the astral plane, send me Gerd, baby.
Oh my God.
She goes, yeah, she goes, I'm so sorry you had to go through that scary experience. Don't worry. And I told my chat, I was like, bro, imagine playing a game and this giant ass woman, like you're going through a game, all you see is ass. And like and my chat was like, bro, I'm replaying that game 9 times over. I'm like, yeah, what is it with games and making like a little fairy, your avatar, put a giant ass woman like Gerd there. I'm sure the engagement, the replay
people go
rate,
crazy.
You wouldn't even need to zoom. You would never, it's just always there. You'd be searching every angle of your environment all the time.
I mean,
and it's like, what's Gerd hiding behind? Like, what's hiding behind Gerd? You know?
Gamers love fan service. I mean, it's true. Don't
like,
let people tell you otherwise.
Oda's the king of not like, he's not doing fan service, he's serving the fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's a little bit different because he's not like, he could have put Gerd in he's already putting her in an outfit like that, but like he could have done way more this thing, you know. We'll see if he does like the egghead formula where every shot of a girl was just from the booty. My God, Elbaph is gonna go hard. It's gonna go hard.
Literally.
No pun intended. Yeah.
No pun intended, just literally.
Yeah. And so Gerd, I'm glad Oda's gonna give us a lot of Gerd apparently. A lot of gastroesophageal reflux disease.
See, now this is why I waited 2 weeks just for the GERD panels, and Sanji took advantage of it, bro. Like, I think, in the Elbaph reaction panel, Sanji is right there, bro. He's hanging out, and I don't blame him, man. Do it, Sanji. I feel like Sanji's just doing what a lot of normal people would do, really.
Bro, I'm looking at Gerd freak out and attack Roto. She just looks like a big Nami, dude. Like her angry face, the pose.
I'd say
just
better Nami, to be honest.
Oh!
Well, I mean, design-wise, Nami's not my favorite to begin with. I mean, I like her, but I think Gerd definitely beats her.
Here's an idea, right?
I mean, same with Black Maria, same with Perona, Boa.
A Gerd figurine. Buying it like now, like Japanese stores have to make a shot. We're not looking at display cases. We're looking at closets. We're making.
What if it's like a real life size version of Gerd?
Real life. I'm saying like if you have a Luffy size thing to make a proportionally accurate Gerd, even to that to make if Luffy's this big, you have to get a closet for Gerd. That's just how it has to go. You can't make it smaller. You can't make it the same size as Luffy. Then we have to start selling little Luffys, and that's fine. Let's do that, right? But then, how are we going to sell to Leos? How are we going to sell Tentatas, right? So there's a whole Tentatas are here. Luffy's like this big. Gerd, put in the closet.
I wonder, are they going to make giant action figures that are proportionate to other action figures? Let us know in the comments down below.
All I'm saying is if Gundam gets to make giant life-size 50-foot, I don't see why we don't get Gerd.
That is fair. I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah, we have gold statues of Luffy and the Straw Hats. Let's make a silver statue of Gerd. Yeah, she's not a gold statue like the Straw Hats. Give her silver. Life-size. There's a giant statue of Liberty Gerd. Just like...
Hey, I would take that any day, man.
The crazier part is like Oda could probably afford it. He just needs to like ask like a few Yakuza members or something, and he's just like, "Yeah, sure, bro."
Dude, Oda has the money. Like you've seen like the picture, man. Like Oda, he's dripped out in like expensive clothing.
Bro, his idea for helping his city was gold statues. That was the first inkling. Oh, this guy, he knows how to spend his money.
Yeah, he wants gold statues. He wants What else did he get? Oh yeah, gold statues. Giant giraffes. Yeah, he has like his own house, like the biggest TV he could find on the market. Yeah, he's having fun with that money, which makes sense, right? If you have like $1 billion, like why not spend it a little bit, have some fun?
Yeah, and it's off of
Uber
you,
Eats
like,
every day.
Cartoons.
Yeah, just bringing his story to life.
Yeah, and you don't really have to like. All you need to do is just draw, right? Like it's not like you're like Elon Musk. You'd have to fly to multiple countries. You have to take a jet plane to. No, Oda doesn't have
comfort
to
of his home.
That. He could just do it. If he's doing the Cape Town stuff, but that's extra. He doesn't need that. That's because other rich people were like, "Hey, Oda, can you make us richer?" And I mean, I'm just joking about that one, but like, that's the connotation with Netflix, I guess, is like, Oda's just like, all right, fine, tomorrow studios and Netflix, I'll fly out to Cape Town for you. But realistically, he had all this success just at the comfort of his house, essentially.
Oh yeah. So yeah. I have a question now. So with the astral world, what are you expecting there? Like, who do you think lives in the astral world? Because I have looking through comments and people are saying that might be where like the sun god lived, which is kind of where I came to too. I think the sun god could have lived there. Maybe that's like his room, his playhouse. Maybe we'll see other gods, right? Like how Roto had like, the needle god, the ear god. Maybe that's where they are. But like the real life versions of them. Maybe it's even like, I'm trying to think. Maybe Enel's up there.
Maybe that's where Enel should have been.
Yeah, that's where Enel belonged. Maybe that's where Berko was. Yeah.
No comment, but yeah, like as far as the astral plane, like because now we have astral plane, and now I'm thinking like the Wakanda Black Panther thing where he has like the paradise in his where like the past users of the Black Panther fruit thing, like his father and everyone who descended, they all just show up there. The reason I'm thinking about that is because of Jaya, the trees, the ancestor trees, and the whole spirits going to the trees, and now we have the big tree and surely spirits involved there, and we're throwing the word astral around. I wouldn't be surprised if it's straight up just like embodiments of spirits. Like it could be that the way the spirits exist there and they get the embodiment through a sunstone or something. You know what I mean? It could be
Yeah.
something like that where there's just it's like it could be that sunstone's up there. It could be that like the main sunstone is for spirits to get a body and then they can interact there. So when they die, maybe they so like to tie this in a little bit, it could be that there's some kind of process when you die that you get preserved, and that's what Loki prevented with King Harold. So King Harold isn't there, but the other kings are. So it could be that that could be like the Valhalla concept, where like you have to be slain in battle to make it to Valhalla, right? Similarly, like it could be here where there's a certain steps or certain requirements to make it to the astral plane. Loki prevented that. That's why he's a criminal here. And if they kill him in battle, he might end up there or something like that. But it could be that the past kings are up there. Um, the other part that I'm wondering is like, is astral planes another place of where astral plane comes into play is poneglyphs, because Roger was like he heard them, he heard the voices of them. That's like an astral type of concept, the voice of all things. So I'm imagining this astral world has a huge voice of all things aspect as well. It might be that like the chosen one, which is a huge thing in general in all the mythologies, but here too, it might be that you need to have voice of all things. And it could be that Loki has the voice of all things, so he could hear some kind of coaching, and maybe Hiruden doesn't. Maybe that's why he's like lower rung, right? So he just doesn't understand. But yeah, it could be something like that. Not
Ooh.
too sure though. But
What
voice
if
of all
this
things,
is
I think.
we kind of talked about this earlier, like, oh, it's like heaven or like an astral plane where spirits go. What if that's actually the case and we go up there and that's where we see Roger? We could have like an interaction between Luffy and Roger, maybe Luffy and the original Sun God Nika or Joy Boy. I think that'd be a little bit broken in the One Piece universe. I think we'd get too much out of it, but
Yeah.
that would be really cool. Like, maybe that's why Shanks comes here to meet Roger and talk to him a little bit, which wouldn't make sense because he talked about talking to Dory and Brogy, but yeah, like I think there's a lot of cool things that can come out of this.
That could also be. It could also be how the Giants knew that Dorian Broggie didn't die because none of their spirits showed up there.
Ooh, yeah, maybe all the spirits, yeah. Like Yuhawaha from Bleach, he can see all the spirits in their lifespans and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So like it could be
Huh.
that's like now maybe we should go to the ending parts because this
Yeah.
the 3 day and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
could
yeah.
play in. Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll move on to the next part, which is the Elbaph reveal. It looks great.
Yes.
I'm like a broken record when I say this, but I wasn't expecting Elbaph to look this grand. And that's solely because of the Big Mom flashback and the Shanks bar scene. It's like, okay, wooden houses don't exactly get my jimmies up. But wooden houses plus rainbows plus waterfalls plus clouds plus tree on tree. It's like, okay, now they're cooking. This is awesome. Like, I love how it mixes in, like, this is essentially Skypiea, right? It's Upper Yard, but way better.
Yeah.
It's Upper Yard if they maintained it and built the village in there.
Yes. Essentially, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, man. And what's kind of funny is that you could definitely see where Road got the inspiration from with his like little playhouse, because you even see like that big castle in the background, which looks very reminiscent to Big Stein Castle. So I wonder if this is like another Stein Castle, but the real one.
Yeah. Yeah, and to just add more to the Skypiea thing, like Upper Yard, like the reason why it wasn't developed was because of constant war, because they
Yeah,
were trying to fight over who deserves land. Was it the indigenous people or was it the people that ended up in their territory? And ironically, Elbaf is warland, and so they have war, but they're this developed, this grand, this cohesive, I guess, and in Anel's words, would be unnatural, right? Because Anel's whole thing was like humans shouldn't be in the sky, right? So like Anel would look at this like, what are you guys? Get your asses back
Who
down there.
invited
Like,
you all down here or up here?
yeah, yeah. Um, but actually, I would like to read the because this is when it started. Once we saw the Elbaph thing, and this is huge in my opinion.
Yeah.
Once we welcome to Elbaph on the same panel on the same double spread, Oda starts a scroll quotation here, which that got my jimmies twisted, bro. When I saw that scroll, it was like the recycle cur thing, where it's like, wait a second, this isn't a narrator box. This is a scroll thing. This is different. This is hold on. And then this is big because here they didn't put quotes, but in TCB they put a quotation marks. So then I was like, quotation marks. That means it's being said by like not the narrator, which the Viz did not do, which is fine for a later thing. But then middle of reading it, which I want to see what Viz did, in the middle of the quote when I was reading it, it said, "I write," and I was like, "Write? The narrator doesn't write. Who is this?" And I was like, "Who writes?" And then I was thinking, like, is it Joy Boy? Because Joy Boy wrote on Poneglyphs, but then I was like, why is the Poneglyph being read to us on a scroll thing? And I was running through my mind of all the things, and it's ironic of who it ended up being because I talked about him in my channel's recent videos 11 months ago, but like recent, and I was like, if we open up Elbaph with this guy, then look at the rest of the theory because there might be more legs to stand on. And then we did, and I was just wild. And then Oda kept it consistent because last time he brought up this guy, he used the same scroll text box, no quotes, nothing like that, just a dash this guy. And I just like, it's just to me we said it on thing. That's my favorite part of this chapter. Your favorite part, that guy bringing him back up, which we'll talk about. We'll read the thing, but like we were waiting for Elbaph. And we never knew how important that person was. But the fact that he was brought in, a whole monologue up in this, on Elbaph's like official Straw Hat introduction, that's massive. Especially because he was also the official introduction for us on Little Garden, which is, you know, again, we'll go into the details later. But I want to hear it in your voice. You have the officials open, right?
Yeah, I got the officials open for the first time ever.
Could you read the officials for the thing and then for me too?
Yeah. So so this is my Louis Arnaud impression. To be in the presence of the gargantuan is to know emotion. What? Wait, what? To be in the presence of the gargantuan is to know emotion. An interesting choice of words. Who can possibly put this sight into words that convey its grandeur? This is Elbaph Island, the kingdom of Orland. Everything is breathtakingly huge. Adventurers, do not regret your lost time here. Do not regret your lost time here. Interesting choice again. However, if there is one message you take away from my account, let it be this word of warning. Do not overstay your welcome here. Louis Arnaud, Explorer. This is massive. Just knowing that we shouldn't stay here for too long, that something bad might happen, that there will be repercussions, I think is crazy. And we can finally get to what this is. What is your immediate thoughts as to the downsides of staying here on Elbaph?
I'm like, so like, as per our conversation, I like the spiritual stuff, now the astral stuff. I think that's like, that has to be related. Like something about staying here too long ends up messing with your lifespan probably. And it might be like a trade-off of some sort. And just to, you know, contrast it, I'll read what like TCB wrote. They said, it is a sight of such enormity that stuns all visitors.
Nice. That's
Most fail to find words that adequately describe its immense grandeur. I feel like that's way more cohesive, and I guess Stephen Paul was going for, because like the way the Vikings, I guess like the speaking was roundabout, you know, like, so I guess they were trying to reflect that, but I feel like even that was a little weird there. Like, it is to know emotion, and it's like, god damn, bro, just speak normally. But like Thor in Marvel, they had Thor do a similar thing too, where he would just start speaking, and Tony would be like, "Is this guy speaking English?" Like, and it's just
He's
like,
speaking as
you,
Guardian.
yeah, you lower folks need to understand the gravity of words or something. And Thor's like a bumbling buffoon, but it's fine, whatever. But to continue what he was saying, they call it the Kingdom of Warland. It resides on the massive Isle of Elbaph. Hence its more common moniker, Elbaph, the Land of Giants. I feel like that also is read a lot easier here. From the mighty trees to the gentle flowers, from sea to sky to land, all life on this particular island is so huge it takes one's breath away. To those who seek adventure, I concede it would be a great shame to turn away from this marvelous land. However, if nothing else, I implore you to keep this one piece of advice in the back of your mind. Should you venture out and arrive on Elba's vast and mysterious soil, heed my simple warning. If I could only write one thing about this enticing nation, it would be this: do not linger there for too long. I feel like the Viz made it more ominous than TCB, but yeah,
The same
like,
message.
do not overstay your welcome here, but then do not linger there for too long. Like, do not linger there for too long is like a suggestion. Do not overstay your welcome here sounds like a threat. And then
Yeah.
also, I don't think TCB reflected this one, where Viz says, "Adventurers, do not regret your lost time here."
Yeah. What
That's
does
not
TCB say for it?
So starting on where it says, "To those who seek adventure, I concede it would be a great shame to turn away from this marvelous land. However, if nothing else, I implore you." So TCB is kind of saying like it kind of sounds like, I'm not saying don't go there, but
Yeah.
don't stay there for too long. Viz is like
Do not regret your lost
after
time here.
yeah, after here, you're gonna feel like you regret, but don't regret it. It's worth going there, but make sure you do not overstay. And it's like a little more charged. And again, it's one of those things where we don't know which one's the right context, and context is everything with Japanese. But it is interesting. Stephen Paul went with like a more aggressive, it feels like, wordage here for people. And for that reason, it makes you wonder, there's some kind of sacrifice by being here. And I think, like, if I were to think of one, I think it's lifespan. I think like Big Mom, like her lifespan thing, why she does that, I feel like something like that has to be on Elbaph, probably. Maybe they need to give up lifespan for the tree. Maybe that's what, or the tree takes up lifespan from the residents. And because giants live so long, it doesn't matter for them. It could be something like that.
Yeah, it could be lifespan related. Where I'm kind of at right now is that this place is like a time chamber. Like maybe like 1 day here equates to 3 days outside. Kind of like the Shanks thing, or not Shanks thing, but yeah, Shanks thing and the beginning scene, where they say, oh, if they came here, they'd be drinking for 3 days. Could be like a little joke, but it could just be like, oh, if they drank here for 1 day, that would equal 3 real days. And when Shanks was here earlier, Shanks said that he lost track of time. That's one of the first things he said after Rockstar came in and told him about Kid. Oh, I lost track of time. Like, who could blame me though? I was, talking to my friends who I thought were dead, which, could just be a thing like, oh, he got lost in conversation. Or it could be like, oh, no, he actually lost track of time. Like, it's been way too long. So I think there's a couple of ways to like look at that, right? And I think that's what's kind of fun about this. Like, imagine we're in Elbaph, we hang out, we get power-ups or whatever, or, we're here for 1 week. But in the real world, when we leave, it's been a month. And that might not sound like a lot, but considering where everybody's at, right? Kobe wants to find the One Piece. Buggy wants to find the One Piece. They're very, very, very far from doing that, right? They need to travel, they need to get poneglyphs to research all that stuff. But what if, when we leave this place, it's already said and done? They've already, like, not found the One Piece, but, like, they've made a lot of headway. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Giants are aware of this or not?
That is where it gets weird, right? Because the Giants would know, like, like imagine you, Par. I visited your house, but you end up living in a minefield. I step on a mine, I break my leg. I'd be like, Par, why did you not warn me about this? That's where it's strange, because if something like that were to happen here, like time span is different, or time goes faster, or even slower, right? You could go both sides of the aisle here, but it's weird that the Giants don't say anything, especially when they're on our side. If we're strangers, sure, but we are welcomed guests. Why would they not mention it? If it is like detrimental.
If it's a threat to the smaller humans because their lifespan's shorter. And I would imagine Vegapunk would have said something about that, right?
Yeah, so, Vegapunk would have. Yeah, Vegapunk's been here before. So if something like that were to happen, like you said, they would have mentioned it. The fact that they haven't
been able to figure
weird.
It out on their own, that's a thing, right? I like the time flux thing is weird. Don't we have context where like Oimo and Kashi were like, oh wait, Dorian Broggy have been gone for 50 years and that timeline lined up?
I don't know.
I feel like I'm forgetting what chapter it is. I'm trying to remember it because Oimo and Kashi, so random characters. I could probably look it up. Let me see. Oimo and Kashi, because I think someone brought it up on stream, but obviously at Friendsgiving, and I haven't slept, and it's been a long 2 days, last 2 days. Wiki, One Piece. But I wanted to look at this because I thought that was really interesting, and it wouldn't be that odd in the scope of like creating in like fantastical place. Oda has created, as far as filler goes, the concept of like the time dimension with the mist, and hey, Elbaph apparently is surrounded by some like sleeping mist, and that's kind of similar to that filler where it's like surrounded by like a time jumping mist or whatever. It was like a back in time thing, whatever. But anyways, the point being is that what's it called? This time thing, I was thinking, so another version of that slash what I might lean more towards is rather than time, it could be expediting like evolution. And that sounds weird and sounds like foreign, but that's the concept of Strong World. Strong World was they were surrounded by these trees, the daft trees, and the whole thing was that it was kind of like a microcosm analogy for devil fruits with the SIQ plant. And there was the SIQ plant that created the IQ plant created an SIQ, a synthetic version, which would be like the smile fruits, and then but the real IQ plant, that one, it basically kind of gave you what devil fruits were explained to us by Vegapunk being the evolutions of humanity. That's literally the word for word like explanation in Strong World for what the IQ plant does. But the way IQ plant works is you don't have to consume it. You just have to be proximal to it. So the villagers, they needed those plants because those plants kept the beasts away. Shiki used the SIQ to coke up the beasts, but then also used the plant to like barricade them and then remove the trees to then let them loose and burn down places. And the villagers there, they ended up evolving wings, not like Skypeans, but they ended up getting winged arms to the point where they could actually fly. We've never actually seen Skypeans fly. Their wings are too dinky. We've never seen Yarouge fly, even though he has wings. Those wings don't seem functional, but these arm wings that the villagers had, they worked. They didn't work necessarily at the start. We don't know that, but their wish, because they were oppressed by Shiki on a floating island that they could not escape. The only way they could escape was by flying, and their dream was, I wish we could fly away from this prison. And so the IQ plants created an environment that evolved them much faster than normal evolution, and they were able to fly away by the end of this movie. And so that's where I'm like, I don't know about time per se, but you could create like time flux with like evolution and stuff like that. It could be like giants are the peak of humanity. They fully evolved. This is where humanity would go if they, became more honorable and blah, blah, blah. Like, the end stages of war, like they become giants and they become peaceful or whatever. Just that kind of logic. I could see that. But I don't know about the time flux thing. But yeah, like I said before, like the time flux concept could be pervade through the evolution thing, which again Oda has already done. It'll just be interesting to see, I guess, what the Giants have to say about all that. It would also that would also make sense why Shanks would stay there, because then it'd be passive benefit. That'd be kind of sick, right? An island giving you passive buff like that.
Oh yeah,
This
that'd be
island
fucking nuts.
increases it like leveling experience by 10%.
And if that's true, then why would Luis say to not stay here, right? It's like, whatever it is, it has to be like kind of negative. That's why I thought that it might be like an illness. Maybe you get sick, or maybe you get cursed, right? Loki's the accursed prince. Maybe that's where curses come from, the notion of curses. You stay on this land for too long, you get a mysterious illness, and then it could even become like a Chopper thing where they figure out like, oh, this isn't a mystery. It all makes sense.
Yeah, I was also thinking about it, like, because at the start I was saying lifespan. Like, they trade lifespan maybe for evolution, maybe for the size. Maybe that's what it is. Things are short-lived, but it's offset by the long lifespan, which I guess you could, like, Dorian Broggie had been on Little Garden for 100 years. And the way Oda drew them over that 100-year span, it's not like they aged. So maybe because outside of Elbaph, they don't trade their lifespan anymore. Maybe it is like off of Elbaph, they're like immortal. But like only on Elbaph they start trading the lifespan to also sustain the tree, which that would be interesting. I think that would be a really because then here, think about it. Like, if the tree has a negative thing, there's a lot of positives, but there's a negative. Loki causing Ragnarok by cutting down the tree for the sake of life, like to give everyone their full lifespan. That would be a justify, like, you know what I mean? That would be an easy to rationalize, like, oh, I know why he's doing it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, on Big Mom's thing, I think a lot of people are like, hey, if we have a way to like not sacrifice our lifespan to just live here, we could do that. Yeah, and then their solution is like, okay, let's just like not. Like, let's just make Big Mom happy. Give her cake.
It could be like another parallel or callback to Skypiea with Nolan and Calgara, where Calgara has this tradition where it's like, oh, we love these trees. We tend to these trees. And then Nolan's like, those trees are killing you. And that's what Loki wants to do. He wants to destroy Elbaph. He wants to destroy the tree because he knows that it's cursing his people.
Oh my god, Loki being a botanist and Usopp being a botanist would go crazy.
Loki and Usopp save Elbaph by destroying the Yggdrasil Tree.
Like Nolan.
Yeah. And then Usopp and Nolan, we've talked about it. They have that tie, dude. They have the tie-in with the Dressrosa. People, the Tontatas were asking Usopp, like, hey, like, Nolan? And Usopp was like, yeah, dude, I'm related to him, right? He said that, right? Yeah. He lied and said he was Nolan's descendant. And if he really is Nolan's descendant, man, let me tell you, Nolan loved burning down trees.
And the thing that I like about Nolan, and ever since we got the name for Elbaph, Warland, Noland, like, there's something about that name that Oda chose that like makes you feel like it's Elbaph related. And then like with
Warland,
with Loki, right? Like, if he, like, they tied Nolan up the same way. They tied him up to a tree or like the wall or whatever, and he's like, I could literally save your family, your daughter, your everything. Just let me do this. And they wouldn't, because of tradition or whatever. And then Kalgar was like, all right, let's see you cook. And then he started laughing at him, right? And then the circumstance happened, whatever, right? But I'm thinking about it, like, what if Harold died like the old guy? Oh my god. Wait, oh yeah. Okay, so on Skypiea or Jaya, they had the word of God. And so like when the people became delirious or whatever, they were like, oh my god, he's speaking tongues. He's speaking, like, the gods are speaking through him. Let's listen to him. And then there was that old guy who they were like, oh, he can hear the gods. And he was like, you must sacrifice your most beautiful first daughter.
What a crazy. Would you sacrifice your son or daughter to stop a curse that you don't know if exists or not? If it existed, maybe. If I saw God myself, maybe. But if I was going off of the words of somebody speaking in tongues, I'd be like, nah, dude, I'm not going to kill my daughter. What the hell? I'm leaving.
Okay, so for me,
I'm
it's
moving.
like, okay, maybe 1 or 2 sacrifices, but after like the third, I'm kind of like, this snake ain't doing shit for us,
Yeah,
guys. Like,
this snake is not saving our people, man. Stop.
like, sure, fool me once, fool me twice, fine. Fool me, absolutely not. No, the third time, I'll be like, hey, something's fishy here.
I'm not sacrificing my 5th son, guys. I've had enough. No more.
Yeah, and so with that route, right? Like, I think like it could be that Harold probably died because of the tree or something like that.
Ooh,
And Loki,
he's avenging his dad.
yeah, and Harold was probably because Odin also was like the all father, the all knowing, and he's supposed to have the knowledge of everything. Now it could be that that knowledge came at a sacrifice, or if Oda is not gonna do the Odin route where like Harold has that all knowing eye or whatever like that, then it could be something just simple as, yeah, he got a disease from the tree is sapping the life, or he found out that the tree has some kind of like insane thing that Lewis Arnott could be like more Nolan related here, and he's probably the one like, yo, the tree is killing you. And he told Loki figured it out also on his own. Then he's like, how do I tell the giants made him the enemy because he wants to cut down the tree. And so ultimately Ragnarok tree cutting down would save Elbaph by sacrificing its main thing. And it's all about like foregoing this like tradition, this huge tradition of like literally the world is centered around that. Wow, I think,
and I'm something else
this. Too. What?
Here's another thing. Think about the sunlight tree Eve and what it does. It takes sunlight from above and then brings it below to its roots. What if this tree is working the same way? What if it's taking something from above, which would be like the residents of Elbaph? Like they're all victims of this because they live on the tree. So it takes their life force or, gives them diseases or whatever. And then it just sends it some, like, I don't get like the sending it somewhere else part yet. But maybe that's why like Elbaph is cold. Why it's like the bottom is the underworld. The bottom of Elbaph is supposed to be a regular place, but because of the tree, it's sapping it. It's poisoning the underworld. It could be something along those lines too.
So I don't want to detract from the idea, but I thought of something hilarious was that Lewis Arnott made it to Roto's Elbaph, and that's what
Do not linger here for too long. The Lego blocks hurt when you walk on them for a while. Please get out of here.
We don't know necessarily
so funny.
where, but it'd be so funny if he's a Roto victim, and that's why he said that. But like, for context sake, he like this is all real. He's talking about the real Elbaph, and it's not Roto's Elbaph. Roto probably didn't exist when Arno was talking about this.
Yeah.
But point being is that maybe there's a clue in Roto's thing. Like, what did he deprive the people of there? And maybe that's like another microcosm situation, right? Like, maybe there's something there. I mean, like, Nami was like, there's no wind here. I don't know.
There's no wind. I guess there's no real sunlight either, which also another thing to keep in mind is that with the tree, the reason why it's called the sun realm or the sun world is because Brogy says that is where the sun reaches. If you got rid of the tree, the underworld would become the sun world. Because the sun would finally reach that land. I mean that would be like synonymous with Luffy's whole messaging, right? Bringing the dawn, bringing the sun. What if Luffy brings the sun to the underworld? I mean, that's what Loki said, right? Loki said that the underworld belongs to the sun god. If that's true, then make that the sun. Make that the sun realm.
Hold on.
There we go.
Right. Hold on. Let's
are we cooking? Is it be honest? Is this another recycle Kerr theory?
I think
are we gonna look a little bit retarded when this doesn't come true? are we gonna be like the village psychopath? Not Happy Death Day. It's the movie Us, where there's like this homeless guy holding the sign 11:11 in the Bible. Guys, it's gonna happen. The day of reckoning is coming. That's us. We're just gonna look like lunatics if this doesn't happen.
World's ending 2012.
We're Y2K. What's it called? Like not progenitors, but like announcers or what? I don't even know what to call it. We just keep on like saying that Y2K is gonna happen over and over. Yeah, we're just maniacs.
It's the where the Zoro kills Kaido. It's gonna happen, guys. The raid's gonna fail. This is
the raid's still going on, guys.
We got one finally. Sai, we can create a cult. Let's do this.
Oh my dude. Okay, yeah. We got we have to Eiffel Tower this theory again, like how we released like you did the Jimmy Neutron, I did Recycle Kerr. We would kind of like both kind of touch tips in the middle. We cross streams. We have to do it with this. Luffy, Usopp, Loki, they're going to destroy the Yggdrasil Tree for the better. For the betterment of Elbaph entirely. The underworld becomes the sun world. There's a curse illness thing here. It's a callback to Nolan and Calgara with Skypiea. I mean, we've already seen the Skypiea aspects. I mean, we said Elbaph looks like goddamn Upper Yard. Yeah. No, this is it. This is it.
I'm looking at what. Okay, so I actually want to read the what Loki said, because actually, when he starts talking, it's kind of crazy. So he goes, this is the official translations, by the way. So obviously there's a TCB. Let's just read the officials because we have them right now. It says, I am the sun god enshrined in the legends of this land. You will not speak without my permission, human. Now answer me. What do you make of this situation? What do I make of it? That you're chained up? Keenly surmised, but no man chooses to be chained.
Keenly surmised. Good observation. Yes, I am chained up. You have eyes. Thank God.
Yeah. A+ for you there, human.
No optometrist visit, Par's friend.
Yeah. My eyes are bandaged, but your eyes are wide open, I see.
You must have observation hockey, huh? Over here in Elbaph, we call it mantra.
Yeah, and then he goes, no man chooses to be chained, and I am no exception in this regard. I would rather be free. Did you know I've been here for 6 years? 6 years is an interesting one because of the whole time flux conversation. I would like to think about that one more with the 6 years, because the 6 years did line up with the world events of like Ace and Shanks and all that stuff. But if we added like the time flux thing, then that's like 18 years. So then it's like when Luffy was born. Are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like, whoa, wait, hold on.
We traded one sun god for another.
Yeah. So that'd be interesting. But 6 years? I consider myself the strongest of all of Elbaph, but this tree is known as the Jewel Tree Atom, which forms the very kingdom of Warland itself. The chains are sea prism stone that they rob me of my strength and keep me imprisoned. So I have a question for you, Roddy. It's
Roddy's funny.
Yeah, Roddy. Do you want to make a deal, Luffy? You're a pirate, aren't you? If you should undo these chains that bind me, I'll offer to completely eliminate one rival pirate crew of your choosing. What say you? The key should be somewhere in the village. Now, if you'd rather not, I won't force your hand. But the part that I want to get to is... Oh, I didn't mention. This is the lowest plane of Elbaph, the underworld. A place that no one dares venture into. Except for, like, Kyle and the other people.
Yeah, and everybody else who's down here.
Yeah. Those judged to be criminals are dropped down here. This place is their prison and their execution yard. Good word there, at least. Dig into the snow around you, and you'll find the bones of giant and man alike. These mountains have existed for tens of thousands of years. In our mythology, we call this the first world. So now with the context, the underworld is the first world. It may not be the original thing when we were talking about, like, is Elbaph the first world? It might be that Loki means the above stuff.
This was it.
Yeah. He might be talking like Anel, where Anel's saying like that stuff is not natural.
It's not natural. It shouldn't be here.
And this is the key line that I wanted to get to. He goes, in our mythology, we call this the first world, a place where the sun is only a dead memory. Very interesting.
I'm gonna be honest, Par. I think we're huffing the gas again, but I think we found out Elbaph. We figured it out.
We're Saudi princes right now. We're huffing on Saudi that princes. Gas, but
yeah, dude, it's underneath our feet. We got it locked. Who wants it? America? Knock knock, brother. We got it. It's here.
Yeah. it's like you know, like because realist. I don't know the real story behind this, but like for whoever first struck oil, it's not like they knew. We had to wait for like combustion engines and shit.
And this
for
is the
that shit
combustion
to...
engine right here, this chapter.
Yeah, no, we struck the oil, right? The gunk, and we're like, ooh, yeah, we're throwing like two dudes in mud, right? And then like later on, when Oda confirms it, that's when we become the Saudi princes. We're gonna start raking in all the views. We're gonna start cashing in on
Ooh,
this.
how about this? So one question I had about Luis Arnos's his statement here is when he says do not overstay your welcome. We've seen people who have overstayed their welcome. The people in Roto's Playhouse and the people on the bottom floor. I thought that was weird that like whatever Louis is talking about here, it doesn't affect them. But what if the reason why it doesn't affect them is because they're not in the tree? They're not in the sun realm. They're in the underworld. Well, Roto's Playhouse is kind of like off to the side, but it's far enough away from the tree to where it's not affected. Maybe that's the reason why they've been able to live here this entire time. And same with this character with the silhouette we'll talk about here in a little bit. But that could also explain that. Because that was weird to me. I was like, man, these guys have been here. Shanks has been here for a while now. Like, nothing's happened to him, to our knowledge.
Yeah.
So maybe that's because they're in the underworld.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, like, I think another thing, it's a meme, but, like, why is the second Luffy and the fake Makino, like, they're happily not in the Sun Realm? There's a choice to be down there. And so why are they making that choice? Are they aware of the detriment? And is that just something giants accept or are they not aware of? But there's another angle there where it's just like there's the people in the underworld that seemingly are fine other than being like stupid, I guess, or weak. I don't know like which one we're going to choose, but Grasshopperson was not the brightest guy, I don't think. And then there's the people who choose to live there. And then it begs the question, right? If Shanks has to be aware of it if there is something, because is there a reason why
it's not his job?
What do you mean?
So Shanks, I would say the reason, I mean, I'm assuming you're gonna say why didn't Shanks do anything about this, right?
No, not that.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead then.
His crew.
Yeah.
If there's like a detriment to his crew, like the old people and the frog ballfingers, why would he have them come onto the island if there's like a huge detriment? It's
I
like
don't think he wanted them to come onto the island. He kind of told them to F off like immediately.
That's true.
Yeah, because they came here to him, right? Yeah. They came to Shanks.
And that's the thing, like, because if he knows, wouldn't he tell them like, "Yo, don't come to Elbaph ever. This place is really bad for you." You know what I mean? And then if he says like, yo, you'll die like 10 years early or something, I'm sure the ancient, like not the ancient, sorry, the decrepit, sorry, that's the better word. The decrepit social club people would be like, Elbaph takes away a life? We kind of need that. You know, like, what's a social club? Yeah, what's a social club if we're dead? You know? But you know what? Actually, an interesting thing here would be Brook. We kind of escaped Brook in this conversation, but astral plane, it might be that Brook is probably our best way to find out because he actually can sense, like, he can control souls. Yeah, he can make them dance. And so it's likely that we might get like a Brook may be able to hear the full tune of Elbaph's truth. Like he might be one of the first people that finds out the secrets. And I'm like saying that on the line of like, if Brook were on Jaya with those trees, Brook would be like, "Nah, brother, there's no souls in these trees. I'm the soul." You know what I mean? He'd be the guy like, "Yeah, these trees are dead. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but that shit's not good for you."
One thing that's kind of funny is that, I mean, we've talked about this for a while now too, but like the notion of destroying the Yggdrasil Tree has always been there for Ragnarok. And people have always talked about destroying the Eve Tree. Because it'll break the red line, it'll make the fishermen have to leave, and that's why Madame Charlie had the prediction that Luffy's going to destroy Fishman Island. We've kind of talked about that before, but yeah, like, if we destroy one tree, it would only make sense if we have to destroy this tree as well, right? We're looking at destroying the Eve Tree as beneficial. Destroying the Adam Tree could also be beneficial in this regard.
And they also have to, they took down the Giant Jack.
Yeah.
Which we said upper yard, you know, we said... so it's like that one, they didn't even need a beneficial reason.
Yeah, they just did it.
They just needed to get to a Nell.
Yeah, they just needed it for a fight. Yeah, it was a fighting plot point.
one time Anel was like, Anel did what King needed to do, right? Anel's just like, all right, I'm just gonna like, I can fly and you can't, so like, I'm gonna be up here. And
It was
King was
smart.
just like, no, I'm gonna go to you, you know? So Anel did the thing, and then Oda's just like, all right, we're gonna destroy the country to get there, and that's fine. We're gonna do that, right? So regardless of the reason, Luffy might not even need a reason, but Loki probably has a reason, and that, you know, is probably beneficial in the long run. And I'm also thinking, like if we're thinking, okay, so like I the time span thing, like all of our understanding of what Lewis Arnott is saying here is theoretical. But if we're to stick to the lifespan, and if we stick to the soul part, I think that would play a huge reason as to why the two devil fruits that were central to Elbaph so far have been Big Mom, Mother Caramel's soul fruit, right? The
Yeah.
soul fruit being from Elbaph, and then the way it was used is on Big Mom's place is to literally siphon the lifespan off of people. Like, was it 10 years, like, or something like that? I forget what it is, like 10% of your life or something like that every year.
10
Some
years,
shit.
yeah.
I don't know. I remember 10. I don't remember if it's percent or years, whatever it is. Point is that was the use, and I'm assuming it's like the longevity of Big Mom, which we still don't know this full scope of, like when she becomes like bigger Big Mom, how that works, like the awakening per se, like all that stuff. But like, why was Mother Caramel like she? Yes, like the Giants, but she had an ulterior motive, right? So like, was her ulterior motive, did it require her to stay on Elbaph per se, or was there another reason why she was on Elbaph? And maybe it was related to the soul fruit and the tree. Maybe there was some kind of thing that she was doing with that power, with that tree, that is interesting, because here's another thing. The Giants revered Mother Caramel, and Mother Caramel was literally a poison that they were revering, and they didn't see it. Like, had they known what she was doing, they wouldn't have done it. But they were like, oh, you saved us, you did a positive for us in the past, we're gonna overlook like whatever, you know what I mean? They even overlooked the Big Mom killed a dude, killed many people, and they're like, for you, Mother Caramel,
We'll
we'll
let it
move.
slide.
Yeah, we'll take you to a whole another island. We'll give it to you, and that's yours now. And they did that for Mother Caramel. They revered her, and she's literally like, I'm not saying that Mother Caramel is an analogy for the tree, but they revere the tree. So why would it be crazy that the Giants revere something that is poisonous to them? I think
No,
that would
would
fit
not be
really
crazy.
well.
Yeah, no,
No,
I think I'm gonna be honest. This is our nugget of gold in the video again.
the
People stay
biggest
here.
nugget.
Yeah, people stay here for 3 hours to get this one good theory. That's it. There it is.
Yeah, I think we had some good ones earlier
We
on
had some
about
good ones, but you gotta admit
with
this one
Usopp.
outweighs. This one outweighs all the others. You can't deny that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Usopp Sunstone. It could have been like Harold and Kumar that came up with that one.
Yeah. Harold and Kumar. Who's the thumbnail for this one? Oh yeah, just two random Vikings with red hair.
Nice,
Yeah, I
nice.
already
It could
got
have
the
been those
thumbnail made.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I think we got it. What's up?
I mean, to end on a different note, what's that bear silhouette? And then who do you think that silhouette on the bottom is? Right?
Yes, this is the last part of the chapter. So real quick, I gotta take a piss. So the shadow par, it's walking. Finally, right? We
Is
see
it?
this guy again. I
Okay.
think so. I mean, they're not sitting down, right?
Are you an SFX expert?
Yes.
What does that say?
Clink clank.
Oh, did the TCB translate it?
Oh no, I'm kidding. I just made that up.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah, there's
racist.
like sound effects behind this guy. He's definitely walking. Who do you think it is? Has this chapter moved you at all?
We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the consensus for me was it's the guy Crocus was talking to.
Yep.
And then secondary to that, it being Shiki, because there's visuals and placement and time period, and now the SBS prefacing, and then it's like, all right, cool. But it didn't have to be Shiki, but for me, I'm like, it's definitely that guy that Crocus was talking to. That's how I felt. Now, who that guy that Crocus is talking to doesn't have to be Shiki, so they're not mutually exclusive or mutually whatever. You guys know what I mean. And so now I'm thinking the guy that Crocus was talking to was probably Louis Arnott, and it's likely that Louis Arnott has some kind of okay. So like again, it doesn't have to be Louis Arnott that was talking to Shiki or talking to Crocus, but now my stakes in it being him, given Oda did this whole emphasis on this quote alongside Elbaph introduction with this guy, with the silhouette, with the guy that was also introduced to us on Little Garden, and then visually that I was already locked in as a Crocus thing, all because I had a video from earlier in this year that was in like stalled out for a year extra. So this is like a 20, what year is it? 2024. This is a 2022 thought that's saying that the guy on Roger's Jolly Roger was most likely a Bragman. Bragman being the book that Louis Arnott is associated with, and that book being super important because a lot of people, yes, Bragman being a known name, but Bragman, next to the name on the first panel Oda showed it, is called a fictitious romance. And that's really important because One Piece is a romanticization of pirates. That's literally what Oda calls it. The first arc is Romance Dawn. But then on top of that, in the SBS, Oda said that the way we should look at Bragman is one, it's a book that is purveyed and represented as a book of liars, brag being like hubris, like stories exaggerated. That's what the meaning is. But it's a compilation of adventures from possibly multiple people, and the way we should it's similar to Luffy's adventures. That's what Oda said, like basically word for word in the SBS, that Bragman and that story, that book, is essentially what Luffy's story is, following the adventures. If you want an idea what Bragman is, follow Luffy's adventures. That's what Oda said. So because of that, and because of a lot of other details, I was saying that it's likely that Roger's Jolly Roger is representative of the person that inspired Roger. That person was a Bragman. Louis Arnott being associated with the Bragman. Now, this part I didn't say in the video, I said on stream yesterday, was that it could be that Louis Arnott is like the main guy. It could be that Louis Arnott is the guy that's on Roger's Jolly Roger, which would make him so important for this series, for showing him on Elbaph, for all of those things. Another way you could look at it is that Louis Arnott is like the Rayleigh to Roger, or the Rayleigh to
the Bragman,
the person, the Bragman person, the main person who that Roger was inspired by, that led the Bragmen, that led the explorers. He was their second in command. And so regardless, that person, because of that pre-existing theory that this Bragman, this Louis Arnott character, is likely associated to the Roger Pirates in some way or fashion, now we get this quote on a guy that looks visually similar, I know, to silhouette, to a guy that was talking to a Roger Pirate. That's how we got introduced to that silhouette, essentially, theoretically. That makes me think that, yes, this is Louis Arnott. That guy that Crocus was talking to was Louis Arnott. And at minimum, Bragman. But I don't know why you would make it an associate to Bragman rather than just Louis Arnott. And the other half of it is the other time, and again, I talk about this in the video. It sounds like a meme, but the video is called Booty Piece. It's booty on the thumbnail. It's from 11 months ago. I could change the thumbnail or something. I don't know. A lot of people liked it for the feet on it, but like, and the booty's a whole. Okay, it's fine. It's a pun. But anyways, and the point is that the other time that Oda brought up Bragman was with Ace in Ace's novel. Bragman was Masked Deuce's Bible. That's how he became an explorer and a pirate. And Ace, the irony in all of that is that like Ace was running away from his father, from Roger, but he still wanted to make a name for himself as a pirate. And he landed on a guy who's using this book as a Bible. And the irony that I was saying was that it would be crazy if that Bible was written by Ace's dad's mentor, which would just be because then he'd be running from the thing. Meanwhile, his first command's main thing is the same thing that he'd be running from. And so I talk about all that, but like the other part about that book is that not only is that book associated again to Roger because it's on Ace, again to a character that writes a lot of, because Mastus is a writer. He's literally a Big News Morgan's reporter now, and he refused to tell Ace's story, so it's a fable now. But the other part is that Little Garden, the place where we got introduced to Louis Arnott, is where we got introduced to giants, right? Secondly, Elbaph, now we got introduced to Elbaph, and Louis Arnott's back here again, but also on Six's Island where Ace was, Louis Arnott again comes up there, and Ace's devil fruit, we talked about this, comes from a Viking ship. Like, it's a giant Viking moored ship, and it's lit, like it's a Scandinavian ship, 100%. Now there's certain details that's like, are these giants, or like what is that, what's happening on the ship? But it is 100%. They look tiny. It's a huge ginormous ship, and again, it's like weird because not only do you get that detail, but that Mara no Mi is the exact thing that the Prince of Elbaph was chasing. So there's a whole like thread of Neo being tied here where Louis Arnott is in all of the places somehow. And it's just like every time Oda brings up Louis Arnott, it's so important. And now it feels like he's been cooking it up for this moment. And so I feel like this guy is Louis Arnott. It just makes too much sense. And again, it doesn't have to be, but I already been my radar has been on Louis Arnott for a long time coming, and literally I said in the video, I said, if Oda brings back Louis Arnott or Bragman on Elbaph, this theory, go look at it, whatever, but other stuff, there's so much other things to think about now. And Oda not only did that, he introduced us with that. It's just wild. It's so wild.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I agree. Not about like this character being Louis Arnault or Louis Arnott, but I agree that it's probably associated with Roger. It doesn't even have to be Roger's mentor per se. It could just be Roger read this book and he got inspired by this book. There's a lot of ways you could spin it, but I do agree.
Right.
As far as this character goes, I'm still kind of leaning towards Shiki. I would say this chapter pushed me even more so on the Shiki camp because of two reasons. One, we see that grizzly bear. It reminds me of the grizzly bear from Strong World. And also, Oda cut this guy off at the hip. We don't have his legs.
Ooh,
it seems very intentional, right? Like other silhouettes, we've seen legs. Like Joy Boy, for example, we saw his legs. When he was talking to good old Emeth. But over here, Oda decided to cut it right here, which I think is notable because if it's Shiki, he doesn't have legs. He has swords. So that'd have been like distinguishable. And then plus, like, again, the first silhouette we saw of this character, we didn't see their legs. It looks like Oda is purposefully hiding the legs. And then, of course, we talked about like how Shiki was a part of the latest SBS. He talked about the canonicity of it, the fruit. Shiki's been this character that's been mentioned time and time again throughout the series. Canon from Chapter 0, canon with God Valley. And he's one of the only Rocks pirates who's left out and about who could tell us about that, too. Of course, I do like the other option, like Scopper, right? I think Scopper is a really fine one as well. Scopper would fit the build. He would fit the hair, the profile. He's another character who would be respected here at Elbaph, ties with Shanks. Could even tie in with the, Shanks said that I talked to friends who I thought were dead. Could have been Scopper. It didn't have to be Dorian Broggie. He could have thought Scopper was dead. He's been here this whole time. So I think Shiki and Scopper are still very, very, very plausible options. And that is just where I'm at right now. But like I said, for you, though, Louis Arnault, I do agree. That's where Roger got inspiration from. There's the whole irony with Ace and Masseuse. I saw when I was doing the Bragman research the other day when the spoilers came out, that's when I learned that, I saw it a long time ago, but I forgot it was called that. But like the One Piece gym is called Bragman. And then I played One Piece Odyssey and they do mention Bragman in the video game, which released 2 years ago. So yeah, it looks like... So funny enough, right? The Gym and Odyssey came out around the same time, and they both mentioned Bragman. So it's like, Oda, he was ready for Elbaph at the start, right? There's a lot of good tie-ins here. And then when I was doing that, I also saw the Ace light novel was listed right there too.
Yeah. I think the Shiki route, that's what I was saying. Like, I think Shiki could make a lot of sense, especially because like outside of this character, where it's very clear that Strong World was also a sandbox, not just for plot for the time skip, but also drawing. And like you had mentioned
Yeah.
last time, like the animals, the moose that they took down, very exotic and specific, and that was in Strong World. The concept earlier that we were talking about how the tree is a detriment, Strong
Strong
World,
World.
that literally there. There's just so much that ties Shiki in here because he was the main antagonist there, and environmentally, we're talking about in Strong World, it was giant animals, and here's giant animals. But then another part is the name. Loki goes, this was known as the first world. How ironic would be that the Loki wants to create a strong world, right? Like that would be kind of a different thing where it's like they have the three realms. They have Sun World, Astral World, Underworld, and Loki wants to go back to the first world, but he can't call it the first world anymore. So what does he call it? He calls it a strong world. And it could be, and earlier we were talking about it, it could be that this character, right, at the time I was saying Lewis or not, but let's say it's Shiki. It could be that this character is a Loki ally. But that being said, like if it were Shiki, the one thing, and I like the leg thing that you said there, right? Because like, yeah, cutting off the bottom, that's intentional. Why would he do that? The only the and I didn't really like realize it until you said the leg thing too, was that the stature of this person, it doesn't feel like a strong person. It looks like a hunchback, like old dude. It kind of looks like Hyogoro almost. And like I know it's like a silhouette, but then I was thinking like, would, because like the way his head is leaned forward, I'm like, would Shiki has like he has that Kaido, like, you know, like demeanor pose,
Kind of
like
bigger,
he
yeah.
walks with like this, you know what I mean? Walking back with his thing. He has that gusto, and like this guy, again, it's silhouette. I'm like, he doesn't feel like Shiki right now. This feels like a Hyogoro.
Have you noticed though that this character is wearing a gas mask?
That's what it seems like, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. It does seem like it's either like Kawamatsu having like the hood thing from like the front of whatever kimono thing.
Yeah.
Like it could be that. Which that character that Crocus was talking to was wearing like a Japanese type of like garb in front. So it could be that. It could be a gas mask. I'm just looking at it and I'm looking at the posture a little bit and I'm like, it doesn't feel like a strong character. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like a physically strong character. Maybe Oda brings Shiki in and he's decrepit. Who knows? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
you're trying to say he looks like a beta male, huh?
No, I wouldn't say
Based on the posture. Yeah, I saw Andrew Tate. He said if you stand up straight, you're a little bit stronger than your average guy.
No, I literally said,
You're Andrew Tating this man. I see.
No,
all right.
See, no.
Hustle's University subscriber number 1,000 right here.
No. He's 70-year-old Mike Tyson. That could be it. Mike Tyson at 58, he still got that gusto, still strong. But let's fast forward 20 more years. He's old man Mike Tyson. I don't know if he got that posture anymore, you know?
Old
so
Mike.
maybe hey, hold on, maybe it is Shiki. But Shiki stayed on the island too long.
Yeah, he aged.
And now he's decrepit.
He's
and
aged or he's sick.
Yeah.
Aged or sick.
And he's trying to stay on the island because he's trying to get a cure. Oh.
I think one downside. Okay, so I love our idea still about like burning down the tree and taking it down because of the illness, but would Vegapunk know about this?
I feel like he hadn't been. There's no way he was here for that long, right?
Yeah, he might have not been here for too long, or maybe he does know, and it's like a known secret, and he's like, okay, I tried to take it down for them, but they wouldn't let me because it's tradition. Because I think Vegapunk would be the type of guy that would, back down if he got pushed back on that.
This could also be the reason why the Navy doesn't go to Elbaph. Like this, honestly, this reason would make way more sense than Wano, right? Oh, Wano's impenetrable. Oh, we can't go with it. It goes there. Multiple people from your organization are there right now. And they're like, oh, it's a good thing Momo kept us out. How shrewd of him. And then, meanwhile, there's like actually no reason they can't go. And like Aramaki proved it a lot of it. And then like it's not that scary at all. And then, but if Elbaph had some kind of like, hey, you actually come to this island and you like die, like actually,
That makes sense.
then it's like, oh, all right, Navy, that makes sense. You keep the giants there, you know, like that would make so much more sense.
And like I said, the only downside is that the Giants haven't told us yet.
The giants have a what? Sorry, cut out.
Haven't told us about the illness or not to stay here for too long.
Yeah, which I can cope with that with my variations in that they just may not know. That might not be a
yeah. Or but like even if you don't know, like you'd still tell people, right? Like, hey, by the way, like take your shoes off, like you're gonna die. Like be careful.
Right. So like so in my version of it, like where Loki's trying to be the whistleblower, right?
Yeah.
So like and the reason why he's a whistleblower is because nobody else believes him or believes that the tree is bad. That's kind of the way I'm seeing it, where it's like because if they have such a long lifespan, they might not notice that like 15 years gets taken off, right? Why would they? Lifespan, illness would be a little bit different, but lifespan is where I'm kind of like there's the soul fruit, the way the evolution thing, maybe the what?
Oh, I was about to say, like, sorry to cut you off, but like, we forgot to mention Saul. He's sick.
Mm-hmm.
What if that's just an effect from the tree?
It might.
Oh, that'd be so funny, dude. Like, Saul witnessed the tree of Ohara being burnt down, and now the only way to save Saul is to burn down another goddamn tree. Isn't that kind of like full circle? He's like, no! He's having flashbacks, man. Saul's gonna look at the tree on fire. He's like, my home!
We don't know why Saul is sick. That is first. But secondly, that would be so traumatic.
That'd be hilarious. I would laugh, bro.
Let me correct that. It's going to be traumatic for Saul. Like, that shit is coming down, baby.
Saul, close your eyes. Saul, you don't want to see
Saul,
this.
You better die this time.
Ooh,
like,
maybe Robin like gets those gigantic hands and like covers his eyes and ears like a little kid. Like, you don't have to see this, Saul.
The irony is that Robin is the one that takes down the tree this time, and she's like maniacally. Yeah, Saul's like, Robin, no, and Robin's just like, it has to be done, Saul. You haven't lived my life. Like, where were you when I was
burning down that damn knowledge tree was the best thing that ever happened to me. Yeah. I got ran through by multiple organizations afterwards.
Oh no!
Maybe that's it, dude. This tree's going down, bro. We're taking this shit down a peg.
Yeah, I mean, we're taking it down. Now, Saul's situation, like, I was thinking about it, like, when you said that, I was like, oh, maybe it's because he's not used to the tree, so then when he gets used to it, now he's just, like, dying from it. But, again, it could just be that he's the weakest character in One Piece, and, like, full body burns just because I'm not trying to be a jerk, but, like, full body burns, he got iced up, like, I don't know, so many people have gone through these things, and they're fine, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I think we saw most of the Marineford sailors, like, if they didn't die, it's not like they just like kept on being decrepit afterwards, you know? Like, so Saul having the bandages, maybe it was just like maybe he was just going through a sad boy phase. Maybe he was just like emo.
Oh, maybe that's why Oda's been silhouetting him. It's not because of like burn scars or anything. It's just because he has emo hair now.
Yeah, and he's just like sad. He's just like, there's no Dore she. It's she Dore. Like, it's just bad.
she Dore. That might be the dumbest, most beautiful thing I've heard. That's so good. You know, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this earlier. The Shanks portion of this, right? So like Shanks didn't do anything here when it came to this tree. Maybe it's because he knows it's not his job. It's the Sun God's job. And that's why when he saw Luffy's bounty poster that he awakened, he's like, oh, look, finally Luffy, or, you know, now that he's going to Elbaph, he can steer them in the right direction. It could be like multi-layered. And that could even be why Shanks went after the Sun God Nika fruit initially. Maybe like the Giants won't listen to an outsider or to a human, but if he had the Sun God Nika devil fruit, he would have authority here. And he could be like, hey, time to take down this tree, man. It's done.
Yes, I could see that. And while you were saying that, I realized something.
Yeah.
Isn't this quote that from Lewis, this is just in the Bragman book?
Yeah, anybody can hear it. Anybody can read it.
So the warning is there. So, Maybe that's another reason why Shanks doesn't want to take care of it. Is because the warning. He's like, oh, I can't take care of it, but the sun god can. Like because of the warning, he also doesn't want to take excessive risk. Maybe like it could be something like that too. Like there's another role that he's taking where like the sun god doesn't have to. Once you take on the sun god role, kind of like Loki, you're undergoing a risk of some sort. Oh, you know what? As far as the lifespan thing goes, I'm curious to know how close the giants live to the tree, because maybe the punishment is of tying Loki to the tree is so that it saps his lifespan faster.
Oh, that'd be kind of funny. Yeah.
That'd be cracked. That would be so evil also. Like whoever decided that.
I mean, Loki's like a criminal, dude. I mean, come on.
No, I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying, like whoever decreed that, you know, they're like one of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Capital punishment, man. Loki killed his dad. Oh my god, he broke tradition and ate the fruit, dude. Yeah, chain him up.
To the stake.
Time to the stake. Set it on fire, man.
Burn it.
The hell?
No, but don't burn it.
Oh, slow burn it with a match. Yeah. Throw cigarettes at him.
Oh my god.
There we go. Burn his skin. Yeah. I got you, Par.
Let his animal friends watch as he withers away.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. At the same time, have him build Udon Castle.
Have him be ruled by a child.
Send in Momonosuke.
Send in Sukiyaki's heir. Couldn't be worse than him.
Send him Sukiyaki's poisoned river.
Bro, if the punishment is being ruled by Sukiyaki, I would be just kill me. Just kill me.
Sukiyaki has to visit him once a day, like a detective visiting a serial killer to find out where all the dead bodies are. It'd be so good.
This guy. And then, you know what? Get this. Like, Sukiyaki, right? For example, Tama gets one friend, and then Sukiyaki starts beating his ass and starts kicking him out. It's like, he doesn't even let Tama get friends either.
Oh, yeah,
and
you're right. Like... Luffy wanted to, be up there with her and just have fun, and then Sukiyaki was like, you gotta leave, Luffy. You're a bad influence.
No sleepovers. I poison my children.
I kill my kids in this household.
Yo, it's like the Stockholm, like that one girl, I forget, like her mom would poison her for
Betty White.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the name, but sure, that's the name. We'll go with that one. Sorry if we butchered the name, but yeah, and then she's broke free of it. The mom's like in prison or something or dead. I don't remember. But the point is that like that's Sukiyaki, dude, with Tama, and Tama never knew. Oh my god! You know what'd be crazy if like now in the course of Yamato's
Gypsy
cover story,
Rose is her name.
Gypsy Rose, that's the one.
There we go. Close enough.
Yeah. It'd be funny if Tama gets like a growth spurt in the midst of it, like in the midst of this cover story. She's just like, "This is what nutrition is like."
Tama starts crying because she has food. That'd be so huge.
Oh god, I don't know how I brought it back to Sukiyaki, but yeah. Oh yeah, capital punishment, Sukiyaki. He's the executioner.
I like how Sukiyaki always makes a comeback somehow. We can't avoid Sukiyaki, man.
I need to hear Oda. Like, I need Oda to hear our take on Sukiyaki, and I want to know if he, like,
I think he would laugh.
I wonder if he thinks Sukiyaki is like a normal character, because I need Oda to know that Sukiyaki's not. Like,
you have to let Oda know that he made a mistake creating that man.
Like, I don't have a problem with the story. I don't have a problem with like that. I'm just like, do you know what kind of monster Sukiyaki is? Like, I don't know. Orochi's like at least knew. Sukiyaki's is stupid. Like,
what are you doing?
Yeah. It's just annoyingly upsetting that like he exists and Sukiyaki doesn't know that he's the problem. I think that's what it is. He's
what if
like,
Oda was just laughing every time he drew Sukiyaki, knowing all of this.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we need some office talk with Oda.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good interview. Like, imagine, like, it's not professionally set it or anything. It's just Oda and a couple of buddies with some beers, and they just make fun of One Piece characters. Like, I legitimately think that would go so hard. Like, over 1 million views on YouTube done.
100%. Oda would be. I think Oda would go crazy too. Like some takes that nobody like. God damn, Oda, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Like
imagine
he
he's
tells
like
us
making
some.
fun of Mihawk, like, oh, he hasn't, guys, he still hasn't made his move yet. What can he do? I don't know. You tell me. I
Yeah.
forgot.
It'd be
Me
crazy if
who?
Oda had like pocketed backstories that he just says, and he's just like, we're just like, are you okay? Like, this is crazy. And he's like, yeah, I was gonna put Senior Pink to shame. Wait out for Madam Purple. Like,
Yeah,
it's so
Madam
crazy.
Purple. Oda just starts talking about penis or something because that's like Oda's
Yes.
go-to shtick in the SBS.
Oh, that's what I was saying in this thing where Brooke missed the opportunity to be like, I forgot what he said, but like he said something, and I was like, oh man, this is a perfect line. He said, what did he say?
To Gerd?
Oh, he says, I think I've already gone. I think I've already gone nuts myself. And then it's the perfect opening, be like, but I don't have nuts. Yo, like skeleton.
Yeah,
And
where does Oda
did,
draw the joke line, right? Because he hasn't made any like PP jokes in the story, but he's made like a lot
but
of boob and women jokes.
he's made dick jokes too in the
Has he? In
SBS.
the
Yeah.
SBS, yes, but not in the story though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The SBS, like our
Oh
tour
wait,
came on thing.
no.
He said like, oh, if Luffy put he was talking with someone asked about the what's it called, the Katakuri Luffy scene where Luffy puts the hat on Katakuri. Oda
Yeah.
said that if it was him, Luffy would put the hat on his dick and the hat would be like floating or something. I forget what Arthur said, but that he
No,
was like so proud of that quote.
no. That's what I'm saying though. Like, it's not in the canon story. It's in the SBS.
Yeah.
Like Oda hasn't brought that in yet, except for like
I
the
f-
Amazon Lily scene.
I feel like, and this was the perfect one. Yeah, he did it. The mushroom thing.
Yeah, the
They're like,
mushroom scene. I forgot about that.
and the
Yeah.
family jewels. So he's not even opposed to it. He missed. All right, I got it unlocked. He missed up with. I said this on stream. I said I need Oda to sign me on. He doesn't need to pay me. He could treat me like I'm in Udon prison, but I can't have him miss a Brook joke like that.
Yeah,
I
dude.
think
What's
I've gone
going
nuts
on?
myself. Yo, I don't have nuts. That would be so funny. That would have
Oda's
killed it in
hey,
America.
he's getting old, man.
Yeah, toothless.
Last thing about the tree, and then we'll end off the video too. But
Yeah.
the fact that it's called the Jewel Tree Atom is another thing that I thought was kind of interesting. So I tied it in with Chopper because I said, oh, Chopper medicine. There's a lot of jewel diseases out there. Maybe this atom tree, you take the leaves and you can cure some diseases with it, or at least the jewel diseases. But what if that's not even the case? What if it's just actually one big disease, just like the other trees, right? Or like the other jewels, like amber lead syndrome, which is the white lead. And then we have sapphire scales. This could just be another variation of that, or like the ultimate disease.
Yeah.
It's done.
I think, I mean, Oda's been doing that a lot with
Yeah.
plant-based
Illnesses.
I wouldn't even say illnesses, but kind of how their power influences civilization, right? And so it's like in Strong World, it's like, okay, you have like this poisonous tree, humanity tries to detox it, tries to create medicine from it, you force them to live with it, it creates other problems. Like it's just there's like a lot of stuff that you could pull apart from various like Shandora, etc., Giant Jack. Like I forget which one it was. I'm forgetting at the moment, but there's just a lot of stuff when it comes to like how trees, what happens if you cut them down,
There's
the
Lily from
resources it
movie
requires
7.
to grow them. Sorry, what were you saying?
There was Lily. The Lily incarnation is another one, in a way.
Right. Yeah. That's one of my favorite ones. And this, yeah, like the jewel tree, definitely like the naming with Bonnie, the disease. There's a few other things. For example, the sunstone here. So the sunstone thing was something I brought up in my Elbaph video about like probably 6 months ago, talking about how like in Scandinavian mythology there was a sunstone and it was refractive. The mythos was that you could see the sun even when the sun set through the sunstone. You could always find the sun or something like that. And there's a few other things. And so scientists theorize it's because it's like a double refractive prism. And the sunstone here is apparently refracting light in a
Yeah.
very interesting way. But what was interesting about that sunstone was that in the Hellbat video, I kind of scratched the surface a little bit. I teased one thing at the end, but some of those sunstones naturally are blue. And so I was just like, huh, it could be that the Sunstone is related to the jewel disease that Bonnie has. And now that we're getting, and I always wonder with the Jewel Tree Atom stuff, but there actually is an example. That's what I showed in that video. When the Straws went to Skypiea, they Robin pulled out a
Hmm.
salt stone, and Oda drew it like sapphire blue in the colorization. It's sapphire blue. Robin just picks it up, and then Sanji goes like, "Oh my God, is that salt?" And she's just like, "Yeah, I wonder how this formed here." And the salt stone, that stuff forms in Iceland naturally off the coast because of the way the water and all this stuff works. And so I talk about that in the Hellbath video and saying like it would be crazy if Oda goes through some kind of like sunstone salt like kind of thing. There's another rock I talked about. There's a specific gem, another naturally occurring blue stone that could work, but again, all that stuff being very interesting because it's like how ironic that there's a blue stone, blue-ish stone that's called a sunstone in Icelandic like culture, naturally occurring there. We come to Elbaph. They have a sunstone painter that they use to essentially travel, which is what the seafarers did. They, in order to get back to like get a gauge of where they were. Where is the sun? They'd use the sunstone. Oh, there's the sun. All right, so we're sailing this way. You know, like that's what they would use it for. It'd be a pathway for them to get home. Here, they're using it as a little rainbow road. This is the pathway. We're making it, blah blah. And obviously, what I haven't looked at the pun, but the pun is amazing too. That is sunstone painter's awesome. So, yeah, it's just the levels to what Oda's cooking here is I just can't like I feel like even with this I'm looking at this double spread with the rainbow, the ship going on it. I'm like there's no shot Oda did this in black and white because Oda colors all the stuff himself too just eventually. He has all the color rocks that I have like upstairs. Those are all Oda colored them in. Then when you get them digitally colored, that's Oda's editors that are doing it based off of his colorization. And then Toei tries to like follow that, but Oda has his own, and I guarantee this rainbow one he definitely pre-colored this one. This one
Oh
he
yeah,
yeah this one 100%.
great chapter, man. If I had to
Yeah
rate it, I'd give it like a solid 4 out of 10.
yeah like there's like his whatever number I give this I'd have to drop everyone else like another 10 because this one is so
It's
cracked.
good, man.
Yeah
It seems like a
yeah
simple chapter, but I mean, there's so many layers to everything here. And you know that might sound like glaze, but it also comes with having a story that's like 1,100 chapters long. Like there's so many things you could look back at and say, oh, this was a foreshadowing this, or this is related to that. What they're saying here relates to this over here. Like that's what's so fun about One Piece. And I'm sure other series could do this as well. It's not just like a One Piece exclusive thing, but it is due to its length. There's so much to one, like the Louis Arnaud thing. We have Shiki. We have multiple characters that kind of fit that profile. The Rainbow Road, Sunstone. We've had Seastone this entire time. Like, yeah, it's just, dude. It people, well, not people. Louis Arnaud was talking about how gargantuan Elbaph is. I mean, One Piece is gargantuan with the lore, and we're just
yeah
still building. We're still building,
yeah
man.
yeah yeah
So
it's also consistent. It's
yeah,
also consistent, which
it's
is that's
nice.
like the it like I think what's cool about this particular one and why people are probably ex pushed overboard with how excited they are is because it doesn't just feel like it's been building. It feels like this was built already,
Yeah,
and we've been building like a fortress around this like masterpiece of a building, and it feels like none of this stuff that we're seeing right now was new. It feels like Oda had this part. Like I don't again that part is glazed like oh Oda did plan the whole story, but no, but this like this chapter, these concepts, even the importance of bragmen, like there's no reason as a writer to like to introduce something as minuscule as bragmen and then insert it at the key points. Ace, Robin, O'Hara, like the Giants, and then bring it back now on Elbaph. Like one chapter, one panel every decade almost. Eh, Other than yo, this is why he did that. It was for this moment. Like, and that's something that like I feel like the way I look at it is like in life, you don't often realize how important some like a little thing is. And like Oda is like a master of that, where it's like it felt natural. It didn't feel like a story where like something's really overly emphasized and you're like, oh, that's obviously going to be really important. Lewis Arnott was one of those things, especially in context with so many other things, that you kind of like, oh, this was just like a world building device that Oda did to give more degree and levels to this. But it doesn't have to be important. But because of the
Like
way
recycle
Oda
Kerr.
dropped it, it's just like okay, this is like so important now that like everything else Oda planned for this moment, rather than Oda was building those moments like towards this. Like I don't know how to word it exactly, but in my mind it's making sense. Where it's like Elbaph is kind of like everything that we gotten so far. All these elements were there. It's just like not new, and it feels crazy that that's how it feels like to
Yeah,
me.
it makes sense that it
Yeah.
exists in this world.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that is a beautiful note to end off on. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Par, as well. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that good stuff. Favorite holidays of the
Travel
year, to be
Tuesday.
honest. What is it?
Yeah, apparently Travel Tuesday is going to be starting.
Is that a
I
thing?
think. Yeah, one of the people said that they're trying to start like some kind of Travel Tuesday sale with like
Oh,
travel agencies, something like that.
I mean, yeah, I could see that. I mean, I feel like travel deals they're always there, you know?
Yeah.
They always try to push it. But yeah, that is it for this week. Hopefully next week the chapter comes out on a normal day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Please. Because it is weird, like releasing this video like a day later than usual.
Yeah.
And then I mean, you streamed a
recording.
day later too. We record. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of
Not having our
thrown for a loop.
Not having our stream schedule layered down is like that. Then I have to just be tired. Like that's just how
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. You can't plan it out. Like, we got families,
Yeah.
jobs, and just everything. It's like, oh God, when do we do this?
Yeah.
But hey, thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate it if you made it this point, and we will catch you all later. Peace out.